going on with this this afternoon SPY trade you guys have going on. That said, has there been a day it hasn't been along? Yeah, it's seven times in a row, and it's a bull market. So obviously,
making us all look foolish.
What's what I'm saying? Like it's like if it's really as simple as go. Well, it hasn't worked every single day.
Making us look like fools.
If it hasn't worked every single day, I want to see what the numbers are. But it's still an unbelievable day for the market. 1.5 points here.
That's what I'm saying. That's making more money than us, bro. We're supposed to be the professionals over here, Joe. I'm gonna.
It's all for the people, man.
I'm banning. That's a great segment.
No, I love the segment.
As I said, but will the segment have Apple? I mean, right now we're long Apple. Who, me?
Couldn't tell what Fabian was saying there.
Fabian was saying something like that. He's like that.
He was doing like hand motions at us.
He's doing something like that. But anyways, we're into Apple here. We're into, I got to get, you don't see it in the position. So I got to, that's because it's because it's Joe and Sharif. But that's okay. So we're going to get some out here. I don't know if it's going to show, but we're long Tesla as well. Tesla's $8 in the money right now off this break of 450. We held it the whole way. We only have a small piece left. I was trying to see if it could even get higher. I'm trying kind of like that same thing, see if we can just hold on to this for as long as possible. We have AMD as $1 short as well. That's nicely cooking right here in the money. So we're starting to rock and roll right now as some of these positions starting to come in. We have one red name today. That's it. We'll trade Apple, green, right? Hugely green. AMD, green. Intel. What are we even talking about here? Intel long down here at the bottom. Micron, $5 in the money. That's a green stock. SMCI, huge green. Tesla, green. Only one red mark here, PLTR today. So a 6-in-1 day. We'll see if we can close it out with something better here into the close. But yeah, that's it. We'll get Sharif ready to go. We'll talk about... No. Don't even worry about that. And we can, we'll get ready to go with some of those names. Bitcoin 107, very...
Can't stop
very, very nice.
It cannot be stopped. You can only try to, I suppose, contain it. So crypto is going to be a big topic, obviously, today. I'll just take a fill. I'm only left in one thing, and that's going to be SoFi from this morning. I covered Tesla on the push to 460 the first time, and then Apple, that same one as well. So it's been a good start to the week, no questions asked. This market wants 2%, and it continues to charge higher and higher here. I was actually just looking at Boeing, which kind of flew under the radar, everybody. 3% up, and I know in the midday you guys were talking, there was some discussion about this. Boeing, knock on wood, is going to close above the 200-period moving average. And this has been something that has been a bit of a problem. You go right back. This is the beginning of the year for Boeing. And I know we'll talk about a lot of names here. This is the beginning of the year in Boeing. It lost the 200-period. It held resistance at the 200-period for the entirety of essentially the entirety of this year with a couple of wicks. Now you're going to close above. I think the reversal, you did the 50 period, now you got the 200 period. I think Boeing's going to get to the $200 level right quick, especially in the new year. That said, I don't want to jinx it because it's theoretically possible that it could drop like $5 in the afternoon and not close above the 200 period moving average. But great play, finally breaking the channel down, finally breaking trend is Boeing. Lots of strong names to watch here in today's market. It is what it is. But the number of 52-week highs or trend breaks or retests of the highs. SoFi, which we're in, is another 52-week high break. And a lot of it's led by crypto, but sometimes it's just a matter of strong stocks stay strong. One that we didn't even talk too much about, Alphabet, another test at the high. I saw someone in the chat like, Alphabet $200. And for a split second, I was like, what are you talking about? But it was Goog that broke 200. Google has made a fresh high.
Oh my God.
But
not 200 yet.
Well, what's interesting is if you
just bounced now.
Like if you look at it, there's like a random volume spike when it took out this high, and that was when Goog took out the $200 level. So Google does more volume. I think that's why most traders are going to be looking at that. But there was a move when the other one did crack that 200. So strong market. I think you want to be careful fighting some things, fighting anything that's in a very, very strong trend. But I do believe Sharif is ready. Let's see what you guys want to talk about.
Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys locked and loaded, ready to look at the takers as decided by you. So join Joe and I during the How to Trade Midday show and get into the chat and vote for your favorite takers every day. We have 3 polls every hour. Make sure to check it out. Here is a look at the triple Qs. We'll look at the major averages first. They're all in green territory except the Dow. The Dow is essentially flat, 0.04. The best performing index on the day is the NASDAQ, up 1.45, followed by the Russell 2000. It's up 0.87, and then the ES up about a little bit more than half a point on the day. So we'll keep an eye here on the major averages. Let's look at the first ticker, though, as decided by you, TSLA. Another good day, 5.5% all-time highs. We keep printing new all-time highs for Tesla. I had a couple of good headlines. We started with this one off to start the day. Wedbush upgrading Tesla and boosting the price target from 400 to 515. And they actually had a couple of price targets. That's the base price target, that 515. Danny Ives saying that the bull case is actually up to 650. And you should also know that this rating doesn't include Optimus or any robotics, just self-driving and AI. Then later on in the day, we got this little headline that Tesla having major issues with its self-driving computer in new cars. Didn't really seem to affect the stock, though, guys. Above 460 right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish it had been the top of the list, but we'll get to. Okay, Palantir is on there. Okay, we'll get to that one because I had Palantir for an over/under that I. Well, obviously, I didn't play the under part of the over/under, which is, it didn't set up perfectly. That's the only thing I'll say there. But Tesla, look, another all-time high. All I was looking for was a continuation, 29 and 35. And again, sometimes you just go into, you look at a stock, okay, well, what's this stock doing? Seems to me like it's trending higher. Well, that's not that hard to see. That said, there was a little bit of a pattern that Tesla had been doing since its last breakout, where when you would have dips, either it holds the close level or it gets back to a prior high. Holds the close level and goes. Holds the close area and goes. This one at the open never holds a close. It gets back, doesn't retest this prior high, so it didn't even dip that far. You had another one, holds the close and goes. So today, I'm looking for hold the close or hold the prior high. That's where those two levels come from. So, and you would have seen in the morning show, it's okay, SMCI continues to go up, Palantir is coming down. Tesla, not yet, not yet, not yet, as Tesla was pulling back in and then waited for it to get to the prior low. First look, we're able to get 36 change into 44s, and then it broke out the top, continuation play, that went for, I took that one for 7. Then there was a consolidation off that break into 55, back into 59.60. So fortunately, the long into prior, the continuation breakout, the dip buy off the high, it all worked for Tesla. Thanks to Tesla today. It'll be my best stock. We'll get to Palantir here because we gave a portion of that back on PLTR, on NSMCI, which I don't see on there. But Tesla, once again, proves to be an absolute rocket ship. 3 trades. All 3 ended up working today, but it came down to, it was a long, but look at that dip. It dipped $12, and you really had to be patient and allow it to come to your level to be able to execute.
All right, good trade, but I'm upset at myself because we wrote down the number 1 trade idea of the day was 437 long on Tesla, and I just was not there. So that's a disappointing part about it, but never fear. As Neil said, it's going to be his number 1 stock. We'll actually make the same amount of money on this stock right now. And I have it one time right through here, through 450. So, I wish we had held a lot more. I think both of us wish we were still in this, our maximum positions. But that break, you didn't need much. So I'm just talking about kind of different style of trading. That just ripped up. We were immediately in the money at $1.50 and almost $2 to some of those tops. So we take it out, and then now we hold that 10% or so up to where we are right now. So again, good stock. It just kept going. We really, really love Tesla, but a missed opportunity for sure today on that one. You know, again, when you write it down and you don't have it, it's a missed opportunity no matter what. So great trade there that Neil was on that. I think I missed it because it started going up and then I either canceled it or was like, yeah, it's not coming back down, but falls right into our lap. So there it is, man. You might not need an 8-ball, but we got the sticky notes. So we'll keep on watching it. And look, more to come on that when we go over some of these names. So we've had some pretty good trades. You can see where we're on with Intel. But yeah, Tesla, I love the stock, man. New all-time highs, continues to work. And, you know, no brainer that it was on both of our minds here early. So again, great trade there from everybody on Tesla. Continues to work. Wish we had it a lot earlier. So great trade. And we'll see if we can get it again tomorrow. Google might be one of those things right now. We're going to talk about Apple. We're a dollar in the money on Apple, which is on the board as well. But it's the same kind of a break through a key level. You might get another break right now of 260. We've already broken it, but you know it could come again right there, 261.50. So let's see what winds up happening now with Tesla breaking that top. Probably happens. Nasdaq up 1.5. You want to talk about 52-week highs? Nasdaq 52-week high. So that's pretty much all you need to know. Like, you know, if that's at 52 or all-time highs, everything that's at 52-week high is going to be pretty much at all-time highs besides SoFi and some of these other names. But yeah, so boom goes the dynamite. Right now, every single major cap name's trying to lift this market besides Nvidia, which is not even really on the list. So let's go talk about Broadcom. Man, I can't wait to have Danielle Shea back on the show because I know that she was involved with AVGO.
She's going to be really happy, Sean, because another one that hit all-time highs. This is a rocket ship, guys. 10 4/5%. Again, no trillion-dollar ceiling or resistance area for AVGO. This is on its way to $1.2 trillion market cap. What a move up this has been. It's continuing from its report last week where they reported, better than expected EPS and earnings. Multiple analysts raising their price target and upgrading the stock as a result. Kind of a backhanded upgrade today from Barclays, maintaining their overweight and boosting the price target to 205. Someone's got to tell them it's at 250 though.
And this segment brought to you by VinFast. And breaking news from them, VinFast is on fire. For the third straight month, VinFast secured our spot as Vietnam's #1 car brand, dominating the market with record-breaking sales. In November 2024, they hit a thrilling milestone, delivering over 16,000 electric vehicles in Vietnam, the highest ever for a single month. But wait, there's more. Gearing up for the future with the groundbreaking of VinFast's new CKD factory Vietnam. This state-of-the-art facility is set to revolutionize the game, producing iconic VF3 and VF5 models with an impressive annual capacity of 300,000 vehicles. Mark your calendars. Phase 1 will be up and running by mid-2025. What's more, VinFast is charging ahead on the global stage. V Green, VinFast's strategic partner, has linked a major MOU with Prime Group to roll out a staggering 100,000 EV charging stations in Indonesia. This isn't all about expanding infrastructure. It's a bold leap toward a greener, more connected world. VinFast is not just breaking records, they're setting the pace for the future of mobility. Buckle up, the ride has only just begun. I like the flying V in that commercial, although it's like a flying reverse V in there. Well, you know, it's a flying...
The Mighty Ducks.
You know what else is flying? The Mighty Ducks is very underrated sports movies.
Yeah, there's three of them. They had the...
they made a few too many.
And then they had the series as well.
They made way too many of those things.
Oh, man.
The original... Okay, the first one was great. The second one was good. There's some questionable...
I saw the... I mean, I've got the hockey hat on here, but I saw the Anaheim Mighty Ducks' new uniform.
Has Gia
seen Mighty Ducks? Yeah, my guy.
I don't want to make an assumption.
Anything hockey-based, man. Yeah, anything hockey-based. Okay, so... I saw that red one on the weekend. I told you. I meant to ask people if they thought. I didn't realize it got a 6.7. We were looking it up on Rotten Tomatoes or something, which is actually pretty high.
That's not bad. That's
for that. So I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to give it a chance. I explained in the morning show. My daughter is in prime to watch.
Boil bag holder? There was a cartoon
of what?
Of Mighty Ducks, maybe.
There was a Mighty Ducks cartoon.
I don't know, but
you know what?
I wish there was another movie coming out.
I'll cop to not having seen. That's right in the wheelhouse. I probably should have seen a cartoon of that.
Same.
Darkwing, obviously we know Darkwing Duck, Sharif. Let's not age ourselves too much. Broadcom.
Most people don't know Darkwing Duck, I don't think.
Well, of course people watching this do not know Darkwing Duck. Yeah, Darkwing Duck, Tiny Toons.
A bunch of hockey ducks fighting crime? Oh, okay, Bilbo. I never saw that. That's hilarious.
They fought crime in a Mighty Ducks movie.
People think also, like in Canada, it's so cold up here. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's like 40 degrees right now. It's like beautiful outside. There's not one bit of snow here. Like
Minnesota
honestly,
gets cold compared to
Minnesota. I mean, I'm watching those Buffalo games, the Cleveland games, all of that. It's like, gee.
I like that cold. The Bills need to not do this whole new stadium thing where you're going to lose.
But still open.
No, but I know, but it's not. It shouldn't. It won't be as harsh. I don't think.
No. It's like something like 60% or more is gonna be covered.
Yeah, because you cover more.
But it's for the fans.
I know it's for the fans. I love our home field. Broadcom doesn't need home field. Broadcom is a beast.
Home field advantage has been so much that you guys have won so many Super Bowls on that home field. Look, we got to change the narrative, man.
That's cool.
The Bills. No. I'm saying this is the Bills' year. They just need a home game. Get rid of. Oh, actually,
you want a stat?
Didn't they lose to KC at home? I'm not trying to. I'm saying, did they won AFC Championship? I think they had.
No, I think we're on the road.
Were they on the road for all of them? Okay.
The Kansas. We'll get to Broadcom.
Kansas City's cold too, though. That's the problem.
Going into yesterday, there were 5 teams in the NFL that had failed to score 30 points in a single game.
Okay.
Four of those five teams had 3 wins or less, or maybe 4 wins or less.
Right.
And then one of those scored 30 points. That was the Jets. So I think it's like the Raiders and a couple of other crap teams, and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
3 terrible teams, and then the number 1 team has not scored 30. Meanwhile, the Bills are dropping 40 like it's going out of style.
But the Bills' defense, I mean, Kansas City actually.
Well, the Bills' defense is a problem.
As a defense.
Okay, so the defense, whoever is trying to short Broadcom, their defense is as bad as the Cowboys' defense right now, because this is only. Like, what are you going to do? This was a missed opportunity, except for I wasn't looking for a breakout, but that's not necessarily good enough, because there was a chance to get into this. It dipped into prior high. I think you could have had something off the 30 level. I was looking for the dip into prior high or down into 225.
47.
It just never happened, and it ended up being a clean breakout trade. It broke trend.
Okay, here we go.
Here, I think that was there's your trend break, and then that could have been the long. This thing, it always happens. Like, it'll do it exactly at like when we finish the morning show, and you get up, and then that kind of a setup will happen. But it is what it is. It's a pure continuation play on Broadcom. Really just didn't set up for the long that I wanted, which is sometimes part of it. I think you have to have an execution strategy. That said, what an absolute rocket ship. Everyone should just be happy that you own this one. If you don't own it outright, then you own it in the index. Rocket ship. I don't know if it'll be able to do it day 3, but there's no stopping Broadcom. I wouldn't short it.
And we are ready. There it is. What's up to Trade the Pool? Trade the Pool allows stock traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program. For a one-time fee of just $300, you'll receive $80,000 in buying power and the chance to become a funded trader. Hit a profit target of just 4% and you'll start trading with the company's capital. Get funded faster and easier with new conditions designed for success. And the best profit split has been upgraded right now to a generous 70%. So you keep more of what you earn. Don't wait to check it out. Make sure you do that now. Trade bigger and trade better with Trade the Pool. Select that QR code pronto and get going with
ASAP.
TTP. All right. We're going to still talk about, well, I mean, I have basically the only chip name that, I mean, I've traded AMD. It's not going to be on the board. We've not traded Nvidia. We traded SMCI. But you guys want to know more about Broadcom. Look, after a 20% day on Friday, what a day again following up today. I mean, this name continues to work. I don't think there's much surprise to many people that Broadcom is doing this. I mean, Broadcom was a split earlier this year. It's now completely rocking. It was $104 January 1st. It's now $251. This name continues to work. Broadcom, you got to like it. New highs. Really the break of the pre-market. That should have been it again. So 233 is nothing's easy in this game, but if if a stock's going to go up, often it never sees its pre-market levels again. So right there, that break, if for some reason, I mean, I don't know, if for some reason you had this marked down today, and again, I kind of say that like you could have had it. It's just, it was such a huge move. Probably a day 2 continuation play would have been the smart thing, would have been to look at this for that break. But there it is. There's the break. There's the kind of the retest to hold. It's 233 all day, man. So good job on AVGO. Continues to be the winner at the high of the day. You know, I know the market's there, but, you know, it's nice to see Broadcom also helping out some of these semis. And Sharif did a good job there explaining SOXL and how he liked that for quantum and what some of the holdings were in that. But you can see right now SMH, SOXL still continuing to lift higher today. So, again, congratulations, everybody that picked out some of the chip names over the last little while. You had to pick the right ones, right? AMD still low, but this one, SMH, really pumping higher. So congrats to Broadcom holders. Let's go talk about something that is also fueling a lot of the rally, I think, and some of the good feels and getting new money into the market. I mean, look, the same people that are making a lot of money, and I know you're in SoFi, the same people that are making a lot of money. By the way, what the hell? Okay, here we go. We said we're not in any other chip names. I don't know what's going on with Intel right here. I must have missed something, but there it is, man. Intel has just joined the Dollar Club. So you guys are talking about making 4% right now on that trade the pool. We just made $1 on 20 right there. There's our in. We're still in this one. Intel really rocking right now higher. So another one. So part of my best trades today, I guess, have been in the semis. So, yeah, we'll continue that trend moving forward. All right, what's up with Bitcoin, Sharif?
It's off the high, Sean, holding about $106,000 and change. It really got close to that $108,000 area. High 107s, as I saw on my platform. There's obviously no specific catalyst for Bitcoin today, but we do have the possible rate cut with the FOMC meeting being this week on Wednesday. 25 basis points, what widely is speculated to be the cut, and that often helps these kind of assets as it lowers the value of the US dollar as rates come down, helping prop up Bitcoin. So we'll keep an eye, see how this one trades the rest of the week, boys.
Yeah, so like you're getting a decent pullback here. We broke away from that 106 pretty well here earlier in the middle of the day, and now you've got a pretty distinct trend break back in on BTC. So you are going to try to pull back. It looks like we're trying to bounce off of the prior high, which would have been yesterday, Sunday, I should say. And then there was some consolidation around this 106. You're barely under 106. It's like 105.97. We're sitting at, depending on your source, Binance says 9.3, TradingView says 9.7, but you're still holding right around the 106 level. So a little bit of caution. The only crypto name that I'm in is SoFi. I did want to just quickly pull up Coin to show you what ended up happening at Coin. When you made that breakout, note, Bitcoin broke out, went higher, and then curled. Coin during that move decided to go to the same morning high and then lose support. So it is worth noting that this is a little bit weak relatively and could be breaking down here on Coinbase. Still, obviously looking pretty solid on the daily chart, but just wanted to point that one out for everybody. And then SoFi eventually, I mean, it played a couple of times off this high break. Like initially the break looked good and then failed, came all the way into prior close, then reestablished off of 16.5. It's now breaking trend. I did get a fill out in front of 17, and I'm still holding underneath this 16.6, holding on to the last like 5% after getting the print at 17. If Bitcoin does bounce here, I think SoFi would be a bounce candidate around this 16.7 level. You know what? We didn't even talk about MSTR here. Just quickly,
right? Yeah.
If you didn't notice what happened in MSTR, when you made that high in Bitcoin, this is the reversion on MSTR. Sheesh. Like, are you kidding me? Like that's a textbook trend reversion, and you're all the way down at the bottom. So MSTR, it's still green on the day, it's still up 3%, but giving the entire move back. Some things are going that are adjacent are always going to move a little bit more. You're not getting that extreme of a pullback in Bitcoin, but MSTR. You get even like a small bit of selling in BTC, and this can happen.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about IBIT earlier. We wrote it down, and the problem is that it kept going. We talked about earlier that 103 as being something that we thought we could get long at. We just never hit, so it never came through. So moot point at the end of the day. But I mean, I still like that 103. So let's try to do something similar as far as the analysis. The reason how we came up with that was a little bit of a longer trend. We used a 15-minute chart to try to find it. But right here, just a 5-minute. We don't have too much time left. Another hour and a half left on our show into 4 o'clock. And then IBIT, of course, will trade till 8 o'clock. And Bitcoin will trade 24/7. So I'm looking now at 105. So that's the 200 period moving average. So if we zoom in here, we are coming back through. We just failed at the 50 period. So 5-minute chart. I don't really use 50 period moving averages, but it's here. here. So fail on that one. I would say the pullback in right now into the 200 could give us a little bit of something. Here's that 103 that we were talking about. It came pretty close to hitting there. It must have been on a 15-minute chart, maybe. Yeah, okay. So that's what we were talking about. So that's 102.80. So that's from this morning. So right now that really hasn't budged. So I would say if you're going to use something, maybe the 50-period moving average is 105. So that kind of lines up with the top. So if we can get a bounce back in for Bitcoin, back in and around this 105, that would be pretty good. And just looking at what that means now for IBIT, let's just look at a 20-minute chart, right? Because it should be the same kind of a top. So there's $60. So I would say in and around here, probably 59.50 or so. If we can get that's another $1 down for IBIT, should give us, you know, a range that I'd be more comfortable buying in. So yeah, right now, good job there on IBIT today and on, well, none of us have it, but good job if you've traded that long, up 4.5%. Crypto's been really rocking. A name that I wish I never got out in the mid-teens, of course, was Hut 8. As it's now $30. So this is another one of those names that continues to work out for those of you that are in some of the mining plays. I mean, it's been higher, but there's Hut 8 on the daily. Nice moves higher there. So again, just getting into all the coins. And I'll save Sharif. He's over there. So we'll talk about Apple, then Palantir. Then later on, I want to go over some of those altcoins.
How about that? Oh.
Good day today for Apple, Sean. Another day of all-time highs. It's not the biggest moving Mag 7 on the day. It rarely is, but up 1.12%. So a couple of headlines. Looks like Tim Cook was in Mar-a-Lago on the weekend. He did have dinner with Donald Trump. Elon Musk at the table. He did tweet about that meeting, said it was fruitful. Separately, this morning we got news that Apple looking at getting into the foldable devices game, both for the iPhone and apparently for the iPad. It's going to be a while before we see these ones on the shelf, though, guys. Slated for possible release, reports the Wall Street Journal, by early 2026.
Like, you say a while, but I mean, like, it's almost 2025 right now. So that's not that far away. Like, we're just talking a year at this point. So, you know, it is coming. Finally, Apple, if you remember, like last week was the, hey, Apple, let's go 250. And then it broke it once, gave you this move that went essentially to 250.80. So if you took the 250 break last week, you got like 60 to 70 cents, depending on execution. And then it was the biggest dump that it had the entire week after the fact. So suffice to say, 250 was a sell event. Today was a much better story. And the way that it went into it is almost perfect. Like, it broke the Friday high. It kind of tagged 250, pull back, straight up higher lows into a clean consolidation break, dip into prior bar support, hold prior bar support, and then continuation through the high. Scalp to the high, and then I trailed out when it made a top after the 52-week high break. And look at it, hold consolidation. Like, it was, like, Apple, sometimes, like, a stock is just trending up, and you look for the trend continuation plays when and where you can. So thankfully, Apple has done well. And shout out to you, Tony. And I just saw, we're going to talk some of these, I guess, altcoins, but X-Domi saying the Hawk Tua coin. Yeah, look. No, we have to, look, you have to understand, like, when you're talking about this great run, I know we were just talking about BTC, this great run in Bitcoin, and this great run in a lot of altcoins, you understand the risks when you're playing with them. I think we all know that if there's nothing behind it and there's no good use case, hey man, your risk is gigantic and it's everything. So it's never everything in Apple. Like, the way I look at it is, if Apple ever loses 90%, that's not my problem. My problem is what's going on with the world if Apple loses 90%. Like, you don't have to worry about with something like Apple. You just buy it, you hold it, and yeah, you sleep well at night.
Yeah, you sure do. Yeah, we like Apple here, so that's for sure. Yeah, again, another big stock. I'm still in it. It's a big one. It's going to be like it's going to be a big net day there for Apple, just doing simple stuff. Like, I think on this stock, it's really just keeping it as simple like as possible, right? Like, keep it simple, stupid. We say that. It's breaks levels. Apple just continues to want to go higher. We've been long this name for a while since it's been doing this. And it's been great on the daily. So although on the 5-minute chart, you're definitely topping out. We may be retracing back. I mean, we've been getting out of this position, but again, we still held on to like 25% of it just getting out right now. So yeah, man, I mean, we're pretty confident. We like the stock here. We like trading Apple. We've liked trading it for a very, very long time. So yeah, it'll still stay sort of, in the pocket for me. I like it up here, but it is getting top heavy. So let's go talk about Palantir, the #1 stock to the red side here today.
Yeah, this was interesting, Sean. Palantir in full display at the Army-Navy game on the weekend there with Jumbotron right next to Speaker McCarthy, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and yeah, you might recognize that dude to the right of all of them, Elon Musk. Palantir was a major sponsor for the Army-Navy game and was all over the stadium there. Obviously, today we had news that it's going to be included, Palantir, that is in the NASDAQ 100, which is the collection of the 100 top non-financial names. The NQ going to include Palantir, Axon, and who else again? Axon, Palantir, and who else, guys? MicroStrategies. Back over to the boys.
You threw me off there because Axon's the one that usually it's Axon that everyone's been forgetting about, like Axon and Illumina. Axon was the one that people weren't paying attention going in, and Illumina is the one coming out that no one was paying attention to because everyone cared about Moderna and SMCI. I just want to, because you're mentioning the Army-Navy game, that Navy quarterback was not playing around.
I didn't want.
He ran for like 200. He put up 200 on him, the quarterback.
Did he? Oh my God.
Yeah, he dropped it. The guy was just running wild. What I love about college sports, which I think a lot of people love about college sports, is like just how they have the NIL now.
Yeah.
But the way in which you see dudes play like it's the last game that they're ever going to play. Because for a lot of them, sometimes when they get to a big game or a bold game, it is. And shout out to all of those college athletes. Like I love they're just a beast. And the guy was a beast. He was a complete gamer the whole time. Palantir, unfortunately, ended up being a sell the news event. That said, it has an outside chance to go green. So I thought initially, and I had two levels I was looking for on Palantir. The first one came in at 75, and it came out and lost. Now, when I showed the note this morning, I liked an over-under at 75. I thought that had a huge amount of potential. When you pull up the 15-minute chart, it's not hard to see why. If we come to the chart for a second, it's not hard to see why. This is 75, and above it is not a heck of a lot else. So you have up here about 76.5 into that 75, which was resistance all week. And you've got, this is 79 resistance, and then like all this room of like the 80, 82, 83. Like that's the one that had a lot of room. So I grabbed it on the way back. It lost 75. Probably should have followed plan with the over-under and found some kind of a short. At that moment, I was kind of like, okay, I want to get into Tesla. Where are we getting into Tesla? But it was clearly an under at the 75. That said, it does pull back into the 71 support from last week and then did a nice mean reversion setup. And whatever, that chart doesn't want to come in. We'll have to reset the 3-minute chart. But it did a mean reversion, broke the trend, holding that 71, pulled into 73 nicely, and then even continuing to go higher. So I think 75, this would be a great level for it to try to break out again. Palantir, our charts are looking to show it from what time it got into the NASDAQ. I still think it has some blue skies ahead. If it were able to close above 76 today and close green, I think that's a great sign. Anytime you can put in that kind of a V-shaped recovery and close green on the day, I feel like you've trapped some shorts. And a lot of people have been calling a top. And if you trap them today, then it could be a great day tomorrow. But it was definitely a rinse of that 75. The mistake was not reversing. Waiting and being patient was okay, but I did want to short it if it lost the 75 level. It just happened way faster than I thought.
Yeah, Palantir got going there pretty quickly, that is for sure. Just making sure that we are still okay. Right there, okay, so Palantir. We wrote down 77 break, and that's where it all went wrong because it broke and we missed it. Then as it was coming back in, we started to layer into it. Then we punched out at 75.50 or wherever. It looks like VWAP was in and around there. Then this is where it started to we just kept on. I'm thinking there must have been the 200 period here or something like that. But we kept on trying to buy this 73, 74. Eventually, it lost it. We were able to get a little bit back, but then it just fell out. So, we're trading it with more shares. This will be a very, very red stock for me today. And it was basically because of this. Like, it broke it. Everything else down here is kind of like a wash. I mean, we were slightly getting stopped out every time. I mean, eventually we got stopped out as it broke through 73 into the downside. But it was really just trying this 77 and then eventually getting out right here at 75. Yeah, it looks like 75.50 to be exact. So it's that first $1.50 and change that wound up sort of punching in the mouth there. So yeah, that's Palantir downside. And I wrote it down today. This was going to be tricky, and it turns out that it was. So yeah, it's too bad. Like, the whole story about it joining the NASDAQ, knew it was going to happen. So when it did, I think it was kind of like a sell the news event. But again, back upside, I mean, it's not going to be down. I mean, the NASDAQ's up 1.5. So in what is such a super strong stock, no surprise there that Palantir is doing a little bit of a dance here today. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on some of those stocks right now. We're still in all of these pretty much. I mean, Tesla's still that 850 winner. Still looking to see if it wants to take out 460. I still think back to the high of the day. And we may get some out. Like, what is that? 461.50. That's the high. I mean, that's not that far away. Like, if we think the NASDAQ's going to bounce off the 50 period again, Tesla probably keeps going. So we'll wait to see that into the close. I think this is a decent out, though, for us. 456.75 or something like that for an out. So that's probably what we're looking at right there. And then Apple has faded out. We have gotten a lot of this out right now. We have about like that 10 to 15% left of this position, which is pretty good. We held a decent amount to the upside, so that worked out pretty good for us. And then SMCI, like, let's go. This is going to be a big trade alert, honestly. Like, this will be P&L. Well, Micron will be P&L 1, but this is not far behind, depending on where we go from here. Yeah, 33.35 right now. If we lose this, then we're downside even more. So let's see if Micron wants to hold or not, but we're at VWAP. We've already taken it out twice now, once about 10 minutes ago. Let's see if it wants to go a little bit lower. So Micron right now, pretty decent trade, and I think I'm willing to hold on to it. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, this market is... Like, it's not pulling back at all. Despite the pullback in Bitcoin, this market is starting to get a little bit heavy. But a lot of people, I've seen a few things. MSTR, I see Mara, people are mentioning. We already talked about the pullback in Bitcoin. Mara is a name that is coming right into a key level here. Last week's resistance it's already bounced here twice. So this resistance here at about 24 a quarter, 24 and a third, once, twice. Distinctly different this time it comes in. Like, you're still on strength. This time it's coming in here on a heck of a lot of weakness. So if there's going to be support on Mara or MSTR or any crypto name, you probably need to have it show you some kind of a bottom or a curl. Certainly there's a bit of a fall happening. And Palantir at that 75, I should mention, if it does a trend reversal at 75 was the level that we like. Let's go to Adara.
I did some digging here at Intel. I still do not have a catalyst for this, and it doesn't actually seem like there is a true news catalyst. But the reason I bring this up is because I kind of try to figure out why this is moving. It seems like there's some social media interest and interaction basically saying that they believe a CEO announcement is, quote, imminent. There is, again, no report backing this up. There is no evidence backing this up. But apparently people thinking that Intel is going to be soon to announce a new CEO after we had Pat Gelsinger step down. There's also some, I guess, talks or rumors here on social media that the announcement that Masayoshi Son of SoftBank is going to be going to be investing $100 billion in the US. They believe Intel is likely to benefit from that. There was a catalyst here for Intel, which led to this relative volume spike here around 11:30. That was when Amazon announced they're going to be investing $10 billion in Ohio. If you don't recall, Intel earlier announced they're going to be actually working on 2 chip factories in Ohio. So that Ohio investment, I guess, viewed as a positive for INTC. But in terms of this most recent news, beyond social media conjecture, there is no true catalyst or reason for that push, guys. Back to you.
Imminent.
I mean, I kind of rubber stamped Intel this morning. I mean, we talked about it. We looked at the chart. You guys were here at 8:30 when we went live. We called up Intel, and I was using this as an example when we were talking about Rivian. I'm like, you might have missed that $10 Rivian, but you didn't miss this yet. And I was like, why not? I mean, this is why it's on the sticky note here. You could trade it as a swing position or whatever you want. We have to be flat at the end of every day. I would trade this as a swing position, and I might get into Intel. Like this bottom right here, this is what we talked about at $20. So we wrote it down and we took it. And there it is. So there's the long. We did get, like I said, we're 5% in, or well, probably less. But there's a couple outs all the way up, and then boom goes the dynamite once we start to break it there. Just on rumors and social media, as Adair just talked about it. So good trade here for Intel. Again, breaking this 2080, we can find ourselves out of it. So this was like, again, another 10 to 1 or so on the last piece. I didn't know it was going to 21. Micron's a different story. We called that 104 to 110. That was a good stock, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But here's the out. So $20. So we're going to wait. There's the 50-period moving average, 83s. So let's go $20.79 there out. We'll set that order out. It goes out right now, and that's it. Just hearing about Roblox, of course, another one. This one we can hit another one on. I mean, shout out to our friend over there at Benzinga, Ryan Faluna, who kept on bringing up the call that I made on Roblox being long $30-something. We're still in this name as it continues to go higher. This trade has just worked out for us because initially we're long down here thinking that we'll play off this into summertime because the kids are all on Roblox, and boom goes the dynamite. It works out of September, so we get out right here, right? Like the majority of the positions in around 44, 45, like some of these tops. It does sink back in. We think we're pretty smart. We do not reload it. Then there goes Roblox right back there up to the upside. So in teaching my kids about, this is one of the stocks that they own, about, education as far as financial literacy and things like that, Roblox. So that's nice to see. And it's better to be $60 than $6, but they might learn a bigger lesson if it was $6. So, all right, there it goes. A nice move there to the upside for Roblox. Sidu still moving around. SMCI, like this is what I'm holding. $8 in the money on Tesla, $1.50 in the money on SMCI, $5 in the money on on Micron, $1 in the money on Intel, 70 cents in the money on AMD, 76 cents in the money on Apple. So, yeah, I mean, but look, we just got some more out here on Apple. So despite us being 50% long, 50% shorter, maybe 60-40, we are, pretty comfortable with some of these positions because we're not holding major pieces.
And speaking of pieces or major pieces, Nvidia is a major piece of the index, and we were sort of saying, we're going to get to 2% if Nvidia can really get going. Nvidia just had a pretty decent blowout past VWAP, but I was zooming it out because everyone's like, Nvidia. Friday low has already been resistance once. It's now pulling it again at 132.5. This needs, if it can break away from here, like if it can get past like 133, I think that's where it gets really spicy, especially 33 into the prior close at 34. Like when you zoom it out and we look at this, like it's still very much underneath, and it's still weak. This is a big level down here on Nvidia. I think if it can break 133, it has a very good chance to go, but it has not been the long recently. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It has not been the great long that it once was. So Palantir just came to 75, pulled back a little bit. I said, that's the reversion I'm looking for. I'll take a shot here, give to the prior bar high, which is about 20 cents higher. VWAP sits at about 74. So we're into PLTR. And there was one more name I wanted to get to there, and it was, we were just talking about Roblox. That's what I wanted to mention. As that story about Roblox came into our ear, this is another blue sky setup. But the prior high is exactly $61 here on Roblox. Well, look at the consolidation. It's got 61 on a dime. I think this one's kind of simple. Like, look buy dips, and if it loses 61 bucks, jump out of the trade. I think Roblox is great. I have gotten quite a few questions. My daughter doesn't watch the show, so I can spoil it. There'll be some Roblox in her future from Santa Claus this Christmas.
You just said the other day that she was watching the show. You just said the other day.
I show her. Like she doesn't can't watch it. She's at school. Like no, she'll like I'll show her.
Oh, my kids, my kids actually come home and watch the show.
Nah, she's not watching it live.
Oh, okay. I think that's what you said last time. She saw Joe and she was like, was it that? Was that what it was? You had an example about her watching the show.
It was Satya.
No, it wasn't Satya. No.
Oh,
Raider Trader. You said that, so you're showing your Raider.
No, because he says all the. So a lot of the phrases that the kids use these days, which like I don't use all that, the whole Ohio and the skibbity or whatnot. The only one that really drops those is Raider, and my daughter says skibbity this and Ohio that all the time. So
no, sorry about that.
Well, what can you do, man?
They'll get over it.
You pick up all the same things from the other kids, and my daughter's 7 years old. Everybody, so that's just how they roll. Okay, Nvidia does seem to want to go here, and Nvidia is looking pretty decent. No, I just typed NY. I hate when I do that. We'll let that one reload. But I like Roblox back into that 61 even area. Nice consolidative sort of top there. I think you can try to pick that one up. Want to be patient in the afternoons. It's been a good start to the week, and we want to make sure we keep it there. SOUN is another big runner. There was those quantum stocks and SoundHound. If you're looking at the small cap names, as I allow this chart to calm itself down, and now I can show you Nvidia. So Nvidia is trying to catch a bid again. It needs to break this top, but you could always pull into VWAP before you do it. And SOUN making some power moves. Randy is in the house. Randy's in the house, and Rivian is right back to the top.
Rivian is in the house.
Why is that still? I hit enter. You saw me.
There's Rivian. Boom.
There's Rivian breaking the high. Why? Because Randy just walked.
Yeah.
So of course it broke the high.
Randy is
the rocket. 7% on Rivian today.
Yeah, we've got some good Rivian. The last time I was out there was 18, so we can have a quick look at some of those Rivian trades because here it is. I mean, regardless if it gets there or not, here's what it looks like on the chart right there. So that's. I think you're coming up to some possible stops right here, 16, 17. That's just a blowout top, which is nice to see there, up to $19. It could get going. Remember, that's the Volkswagen. I mean, if Rivian can produce the cars, then we know the demand is there. So there goes Rivian. I mean, we got some newer models coming through. We talked about building their plant down in Georgia. Nice move above the 200 period. Yeah, I think Rivian could see this top, actually, 23. I'm going to call that right now. Rivian, $23 is my next out. So right into here. So 23 goes back to beginning of the year. So you're still down quite significantly if you invested in this name this year. But $24 right there is where I'm going to call Rivian. For the top. You like that, Randy? You like that? All right, me too. So we'll call that and see if that can come through there on Rivian. All right, so other than that, though, what else is going on right now? Tesla is in pullback mode. We were thinking about getting out if it does break right here, 456 basically. So we are getting closer and closer to scratching that itch on Rivian, on Tesla and getting out.
On the brink
of that one. So
wait till you're driving in one.
We'll see. Yeah, the wife likes the Rivians. There is no doubt about that.
Don't they say?
But she also likes, we had the $2,000 snowboarding go through on the weekend, so that's just a part of the payment. 200 was a deposit.
Yeah.
And then the equipment's another 300. I think it's all in. It's about $3,000. It's 8 weeks. And then hockey.
Hockey's different.
Her blades alone were $200 back there today. So we're excited for that. But we're in the lab though. We're in the lab cooking. I mean, that's the whole point. That's
hilarious. Did you see
that's the whole point of why we're here.
You see the chat right now? You said we're in the lab cooking. Jam the band. What about lab? Can't even make this.
Maybe I saw that. I don't know. Sometimes.
No, you didn't see that.
I don't know. We'd have to review the tape on that one. But yeah, we're trying to cook up some special trades here because we got to pay for a lot of this stuff. All right. So overall, all in all, we're in the money like $15, but that doesn't really matter because we've exited out of a lot of it. We will have one red stock today. That's it. It'll be Palantir. But there's Micron. Trying to pull back a little bit. We have some of these targets on where to get out. We were able to get out some more Apple right there as it just ripped and touched the 50 period. We're still there right now. This is a name that's kind of still hovering high. So I actually like this level right here, right now. Another play could be Uber. Where is Uber? Yeah, so Uber's down to that $60 mark. So oops, it's uber.ny. So this was something else that I was trying to negotiate here with Uber, fading back into that 60s. So waiting for this to come in, which is what I'm trying to be a little bit patient as we approach power hour, 3 o'clock. So right now, Wayne, that's SMCI, Tesla. Yeah, go ahead.
Rivian Millionaire, I just saw a question from Rivian Millionaire in the chat. The chat's moving a little bit fast, so it's not there anymore. But and the question was, what if they don't raise rates on Wednesday, lower rates on Wednesday? I'll have to double check, but I think it was decently over the 90% mark. I tend to think when that happens, if they weren't to do it, we would actually see a move. That said, I put the probability, when that hits 90%, remember, by tomorrow, it'll be like 94, or I don't know, I'm just making that number up. And then by the time we get to the event, it'll be like 98% is my guess, or 99. So it's pretty much in the bag. If there's one thing, I don't care what your politics are or whatever, you can't accuse this Fed of, when it comes time to a decision, that we generally haven't known what was going to happen, with one exception. And that was a couple of times ago when we didn't know how big it was going to be. But they done a pretty good job of telegraphing things. So Rivian Millionaire, I tend to think if they weren't going to, we would probably see a pretty decent red candle. But that's just because of the shock. Like the algos are going to drop the bid if that were the case. That's what happens if you get that kind of a shock. I promise you this, if that happens, you're not even getting a good short unless you were already in, because like I said, the algos are going to drop the bid. No questions asked. So West, y'all just said Sidhu.
Pause.
I'll get there in a quick second. Palantir just came back underneath the 75, so over under at 75. The local high here is like 75.05, so I'll give it to the local high. It just pulled back and printed 74.75. And I want to take a fill if we can get down into the underneath 50 as well. But it was Sidhu, which I don't remember what these guys do. It doesn't, not that it necessarily matters.
That was vaccine-based or something.
For some reason, I thought that too. City is space. Okay, maybe the stock isn't what I thought it was. City is space. There's a vaccine one with a similar name. That's probably what it is. Oh, we're just Sidhu with a bit of a topping tail candle here, so watch out.
Sidious space.
Yeah, like if you don't see this as a bit of a topping tail candle, it just broke 650, and now a bit of a mean reversion coming on for Sidhu. I mean, $5 is sort of an obvious level because it was a prior high, but when you zoom out the daily chart, you also get $5 in here on the daily as the most recent high that this was breaking out. So if it is it's up 300%, right? So this pulling back 20% is nothing. So if it does make a topping tail candle, $5, big level on the daily, and it was a prior high. VWAP is way too far away at this point to care too much about it. But yeah, Sidhu, great runner. I didn't check the story, and it's only a 3.6% short float. The story here would be, this is ridiculous. Its float is 4 million shares. It's done 240 million in volume. Yeah.
Yeah.
60 times. 60 times its float today. Okay, no one ever went broke taking profit.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
It's a repeat offender. This stock has done this before.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, lots of names probably today. There is that, I didn't check out Zcar.
Well, I think the quantum names at least have good-looking charts for a while, for at least a few weeks now.
QBTS and so on.
And the other
I saw those guys trading that one. IonQ. Right into there. So I think it was maybe Rivian Millionaire or whomever was just like, look, there is some kind of support here on SMCI. And yeah, I mean, we've gotten out at this support now about 4 times, and we just got out again right now. We actually got out twice in the last 5 minutes because the market doesn't look like it wants to pull back. So we've already got a real good fade out. And again, this is that level that we called. We knew that we didn't have the best price. Remember, we were short at 34.66, which is actually down into here. So as this was falling, we were just kind of covering some of the position, and then we started to make some profits. We weren't really making profits until this was down to $34. But since then, it hasn't gotten back above it. So good trade there on SMCI today. Well profited, but still waiting for that break lower. In case it doesn't, I'm waiting at 40s. So that would just be right here, which is like a quick little break. If that happens, great. We'll be able to get out of some more. And other than that, though, a couple more outs there for that name. We do have that stop in. We just put it out on Intel. So let's check back on what Intel's doing. So that stop does not get hit. Right there, I made changes to the 50-period moving average, which is now 95. So let's just do that for Intel. Great trading. We just don't need to, worry about it anymore. It's not a very big position, but we always want to make sure that we take profit. So 21.89, which would be the 50-period moving average. Whoops. So we must have just keystroke errored that. Oh, 21.89. Yeah. So you saw me put in 21.89. So then, boom, there it is. There's the sell. So yay, hot dog cannon. Hey, look, if it hits 20.89, we'll have prematurely sold. And we got out. So there it is. Boo. We take $1 on that, but that was keystroke. So, whatever. If I really liked it, I could get back in, but I'm not going to. We're close enough to that 50 period anyways. So there's the out on Intel. Boo for me getting out of that one when we did not mean to. AMD. So we got out some more down here on, again, some possible support at 126.50. More outs there. Look at the 200 period. Then it breaks below. That must have been the 50 period or something. Now we're starting to dip back up. So we should get out another piece of AMD right here. Hey, look, man, it's a 65-cent winner. We should do it because it's at VWAP. And I just think that that's part of the game. You have to start to clear out, or not at VWAP, it's at the 50 and at the 200. So there it is, you get some 95s. You have to start clearing out some positions.
VWAP's the blue.
VWAP is the blue, yeah. So, and I actually described that there today. I actually tweeted something out, and some of you are asking more and more about, whoopsies, oh, good, I thought I closed all that, about all of the 20 notifications. Okay, I'll go answer that. But it was right onto here, pink line, 50-period moving average, 200 period, and then the green is the 200 and the VWAP is the purple. So just a little quick explanation on that one. But yeah, more outs there. Apple's still that dollar holding out higher. I don't know. I'd like to get into some more. I mean, Uber's not really triggering for me yet. I'm going to reset the e-signal, the scanner. This is what I'm looking at, some of these hot lists here, some of the trade rates. What's XOMO? XOMO. Some of these, I don't
no way. It's an XOM ETF.
Oh, so it's on New York? No, it's on Amex.
Amex, yeah, Amex.
XO. I don't see it.
It says title ETF.
Oh, it's because it's over there. We don't have it on our charts.
Oh. Okay.
All right. So QUBT, another hot name, moving around again. So this is part of the stuff that we have on eSignal. I don't have it linked. Unfortunately, it doesn't link to our charts.
It's
so
not
I have
like
to keep changing it.
Yeah, it's not like a leverage thing. It's one of those like options income strategy ETF.
Oh, excellent.
I don't think. Yeah, we don't trade those at P-Pro 8. Like if it was just like a 2x bull or 2 or 3x bear.
Yeah, then we could get involved.
Those types of things we can trade just like the stock, but that one wouldn't be there. But XOMO, it's actually bleeding a little bit to the downside. There was a question in the chat that, first of all, Rigetti is getting close to 10, RGTI, for anyone that's been talking about it. It is a sleeper. But Harmon asked this in the chat. When a stock just passed its IPO price, do you typically see any patterns? Short answer, yes. But if there's any context to that, please let me know. Because I think there's a big difference between, if you just look at something like what I mean is, Reddit would be the example I want to use. But I don't know if you're talking about something recently. And usually you want the stock to have traded for a while before you talk about it breaking back above. So you look at the IPO, and I'm not talking about the issue price, I'm talking about when it opens. But this opened at 47, look at it when it goes up, makes a fresh high, file that away for what's obvious later, with that 75, and then when it goes red, when it regains that IPO price, it starts an upward trend to the local high. Retracement to the prior open. I think, and we've talked about this before, the bigger trade is when it breaks out the high. Not necessarily when it supports, and again, I think this is because you want the IPOs that are showing a lot of strength, not a little bit of strength. So it's okay when it holds the actual open price, but when it breaks out the post-IPO top, like Reddit did in here, that's where you tend to see explosion. So I think that's what's usually more interesting for traders. You can pull up Kava, would be another good example. I don't know if there was a local example you were curious about there, but I feel like Reddit is the best example of, man, it clearly showed you an early top, and it wasn't so much buying support. Buy high, sell higher was actually the perfect entry there on Reddit. Rocket ship, another 3% today because Reddit just continues to go up. This is a channel I'm watching for Reddit. And as you can see, look at how steep this channel is. At some point, and I think I said this last week, if it closes a second time, like 2 days underneath that channel, I think that's where you want to look for. That's where you want to look for a short kind of trade. They'll get there once, and then the second day it opens underneath, and then immediately regains it. Opens underneath, second time, immediately regains it by the close. So it's got to do it 2 days in a row, and then I think it can go into a little bit of a downtrend. But wow, Reddit's been a rocket ship, no question about it. All right, SoFi, load. That just came back in, retook the prior high. So I was trailing to this level. I'm like, if it breaks out, we'll keep our trail and then play back into the high of the day. Harmon, you were talking about SOUN. Okay, thanks for the context. Again, we don't necessarily, if you're not specific, then I'm not sure exactly what you might be talking about. So SOUN, how far am I going back here to even find it? Probably have to go back way too far in SOUN. I'll have to pull up a weekly chart somewhere else maybe for SOUN. The thing about this is, I mean, every single time it takes a local high, it's been a rocket ship. So when it's doing this, like, okay, like this break was good, that break was good, this break was good. When it broke over here, that was good. Like pretty much every single time the stock breaks a major level, you're not really losing on the long. So it makes it kind of easy to trade, I suppose.
Those of you that are talking about SMCI, so we wanted that finally. There's the break. We said that we were waiting for that break. We did take a 40 fill, like is what we got there. Now it's starting to come down even just a little bit more. So nice move down here for SMCI. So a good trade there as we're starting to break a little bit lower. Tesla's still holding out the highs. Apple's still doing its own thing. AMD doing its own thing as well. So okay, those were those stocks. We did talk about Qualcomm and ARM.
We did talk about ARM?
Oh, no. Not yet today, but we talked about Qualcomm and ARM earlier. I did want to show Titan again. So this is that service Titan, which isn't moving at all. So this was another IPO that was on Friday, not doing anything. So I mean,
see what happened on Friday? Oh, that's right. You weren't.
Oh no, I wasn't. Oh no, it happened on Thursday. Sort of the IPO. Well, I guess it went to the 94 right there. I guess must have been a halt, or maybe I don't know if we're just
no. There was just no liquidity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was literally
boom and then boom. Then back up to 11. Yeah, 102.50. And then, of course, it closes at $100. That kind of makes sense. Remember, it came out at 101. Yeah. So, you're still flat-ish on this name if you've been trading Titans.
But at the end of the day, so a couple of things happened. First of all, there was no liquidity at the open. Like, that was the fact that it sold through. There was just, trust me, if you were looking at that stock at the open, you wanted no part of it. It's like a business decision.
Even now.
Like, why I wouldn't tackle Derrick Henry.
Right.
Well, I mean,
or any NFL player.
Or like some NFL players, you'll see them make that move where like, he's probably going to go out of bounds.
Right.
I'll just kind of...
Not him, right.
I'll pretend like the punter will go after I'll maybe go... You didn't want to be on that bid. But there was... This stock has been barcoding every now and then. Barcoded $100 for the entirety of the afternoon and a barcode again today. And so you are getting these real obvious chunks on TTAN. Can we just come to the chart for a second, Ramin? Like, this is all that's left for this. Like, I think... when you see this or you see that, there probably are some shot plays to be taken on scalp trades where maybe you just take a breakout and give it like 20 or 30 cents and it might give you a move. But Titan has been doing this because the liquidity is, well, it's trash.
Yeah.
And I think when we said this before, unless it's a really big IPO, these smaller ones, you trade them for a day, maybe two if you're lucky, and then move on to the next. And after they report earnings, maybe you come back to it. Like I remember, like Mobileye was like that kind of a stock. Like you traded it for a day or two, and then you talk about it once every quarter. Unless there's a news. Sometimes Mobileye has a news story, but things like that you don't care too much about. So Palantir just goes right back into 75 a second time. 74.97 pulls back. I got some 88s again. Pulls back into the mid 74.75. So we'll scalp it in this range, looking for the press down underneath local support, and then I think you can make a bigger move. But the market's going sideways here. Like if you look at the NASDAQ, as we get into power hour, Like it's been a very steady upward trend for most of the day, for all of the day, not most of the day, for the entirety of the day. And now we're just consolidating off the top. This is the first time we've had a consolidation in the NASDAQ in earnest. It's been a very steady move up. And sometimes that's better. Like you like it when you have an uptrend, you actually get like pullbacks and dips that can get bought up. When it doesn't do anything, if it doesn't do a good enough pullback to keep going, you got to be a very patient, sort of wait for the prices that are in there or trade some kind of a range trade. I think that's the same reason why one of the rockets of the day, like Alphabet, look how strong Alphabet's been all day. Look what it's done since 2:30. Pretty much nothing. It's just going sideways here. And this is a stock that's up 4 points. And outside of Tesla, I mean, what else? Well, in Broadcom. Outside of Tesla and Broadcom, like what's been as strong as Google? Not much.
Before we go over to Adara, just looking right here. Thank you, Tisha, for that. He wants to go over Sidhu. Yeah, Neil will look at that. Oh. I thought she was standing over there. All right, so 255 likes. We got to get that up a little bit more. I mean, that's pretty pathetic. Over 4,000 of you watching right now. I was going to say, because I know you're not hitting the likes for us. That's why I was saying give it for Adara, but Adara's not here. So, all right, 256 likes. See if we get to 400. I mean, 10% of you, give me a break. Bitcoin 106 right now. I've been covering some of that. And because you guys are hitting the like right now, let's go over and look a little bit at some, you guys want me to look at some of these names? We will look at those names from Tisha. Thank you so much in just a couple of seconds. But right now, okay, here's Bitcoin. So let's look at some of these little itty bitty coins again. So Ethereum now, thankfully, there you go. That's not that itty bitty anymore. Bang for Ethereum right now, taking out some levels. I want to see what the market caps are right now here. So over 2 trillion right there, 500 billion for Ethereum. Ripple here as well, nice little move up, 250. Obviously Tether's not going to move as well. Binance Coin, 218 for Solana. We'll slap a fail on that one. That's not been performing well. You know,
where's Fartcoin?
I don't know where Fartcoin is. I know nothing about that. You and Michael Noss. I didn't even know Michael was all about that.
Dude, I don't know about it either.
Okay, I don't know about it.
I know what it's called, and I think it's 300 million market cap.
Oh my God. Okay, 300 million.
Think?
No, but these are millions right here.
Well then, okay, maybe I'm trying to remember what he said last week, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so at the end of the day, here's Dogecoin right now. 40 cents. That's a good one. We talked about that with Obi again before. What we're looking for in some of these coins. Dogecoin, maybe one of the next runners to go upside. My guy Cardano, that's been pretty good as well. It's got its highs about 120, 125-ish or so as well. Chainlink, I really like that one. I know my guy Baxter was all about that one. Shiba Inu as well, down 7%. Sui coin, whatever that is. Don't tell me that's a Ronaldo one. I'll go crazy. But okay,
probably.
So there it goes right now.
I believe.
Yeah. All right. So we got out some more AMD. AMD's just dancing around here at the 200 at 50 period moving average. So more and more outs as we go for not really my friend AMD. I'm not invested in this name. I don't think I want to be, but there are certain names that I don't know, man. Like my Google is just so it's like I don't want to sell winners to get into losers, but I don't know, man. There's so many opportunities. I feel like, hey, there's Adara. What's up, Adara? We missed you. All right, so back in there, 126, 125 coming back in there for AMD. Why did my chart just do that? I have no idea, but
because the stock is going to 700. What was the top there? 790.
Oh, there it is. There's a wick all the way up there.
What the heck is that?
So I'm going to get rid of that. You didn't know on May 12th, it went up to $700. I'm going to
It's like a Volkswagen
edit this. Oh, there it is. So they're adding a zero. You see 76 bottom, 775 top. So I'll just say $75 top. And then magically, the chart will repair itself. And all I was trying to get at is like, you have this huge top of 210, 220, and then just fall from graces. So like, we could sit here and be like, SMCI is a POS, and it is. But some of these other names, man, if you've been sitting in them all year, AMD's red, Intel's about chopped in half. I think there's some value in some of these other names. And meanwhile, you look at an Nvidia and things like that, and you're $15 now away from that high of 150 for Nvidia. Unfortunately, our charts don't show that either, but there's 150 right there. So, we're 2 weeks away from the high. We could get back there in another 2 weeks, if not sooner than that. So let's wait to see what happens with Nvidia. Oh no, Sebastian, is Uber down there? Sebastian's like, yo, check out Uber. We were waiting for $60. Yeah, so
It's still not broken 60.
It's still, yeah. I mean, it broke it on Friday. We'll wait to see if it holds it again today, Sebastian. But yeah, this is the point. Is now I'm not buying anything else, man, until I thought it was 56. Yeah, right into there.
August.
So January.
What's also
low.
August low?
Yeah. Well, that's the August.
Panic August low.
Yeah, $53 or $54.
If a stock loses its August low, then that's a pretty decent sign that it's in a world of hurt, right? Because on that day, I think like panic was at its absolute high. There was no point this year, I think, that people were panicking about the market more than that August 6th morning. So if a stock loses the buyers that came in at that point or the trend that got formed, like you said, it's a lot of trouble. I think Uber has a good level there. Tisha, you asked about Sidhu. I think we talked about Sidhu there at least, although I didn't realize, again, didn't know what they were, but Sidhu doing tremendous volume. But Lay's as well. Seals Q, Swiss stock, apparently. So we can go over that one. Thank you very much, Tisha. We appreciate the super chat. Appreciate all of our reviews. Like we say, hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is a repeat offender. No questions asked. So this is the zoom out to give context. That said, I think I know what you're getting at here, and it's not there yet. This is just about $4, and you are getting a pretty decent run into that level. So I don't think it's rocket science. Every now and then, I've swung in penny-ish stocks before. And I can tell you with 100% certainty, I have never made a swing stock in a small cap or micro cap where I would take a trade off of like $1 where it's breaking out and not have covered some at 2 and not have obviously covered some at $3 and $4. So congratulations if you happen to be in this. As far as the day trade goes, it's got a nice consolidation. Everything's going well. Like pull back in a prior high, hold a prior high, consolidation. But look at the volume on this. Now, obviously, the afternoon tends to not have as much volume, but you still have, like, it's downward trending. Usually, if a stock is going to break, like, I'd want it to come back in and start doing some volume approaching what it was at least doing in the middle of the day, and then I'd think a continuation is a better opportunity on something like this Lay's stock. So, yeah, it's great, but, like, what's going to cause it to break out? You don't want to be the liquidity that makes the move. You want to join a move as it's happening, or at least that's the way I would look at it there. So yeah, Lay's, it's a nice looking chart, but just keep in mind what this stock has done clearly repeatedly in the past.
So thank you for the quick super chat. Gone. It disappears so fast, man, because, and shout out to Veron here, Veron on here. It's to me, can you go over to ticker LC, which of course is Lending Club. Lending Club, pretty, not overly familiar with it, but enough that we could talk about it. Lauren, looking at the charts here. Again, they lend to small, medium-sized businesses, so some venture capitalists, things like that. Lending Club obviously has been working out as rates have gotten much better. So as you start to lend out and rates can become a little more affordable, although I know the mortgage rates, you know, still where they are. But again, for lending capital, you're going to look at the spot rate. So it's been getting better there as you've seen the Russell and some of their customers continue to climb a little bit higher. I mean, again, I really like the stock on the daily period. So I can look at it if you meant as a day trade. I mean, I think right now it's holding that 1750. We really like it. But look at this. This is great. Earnings I'm reading are February 25th. So with a market cap of still under $2 billion, Lending Club has a good way to go up. We've seen names like Affirm and Upstart really get going, right? I mean, again, another name similar to Lending Club, Upstart, lending to these venture capitalists. Of course, this is more Silicon Valley. As you can see right now, Upstart really more of a short float than what there is potentially on Lending Club. No dividend, so I don't love it that much. I was actually looking it up right now, LC. They have a street high rating of 28 and a low of $11 for price targets right now on Lending Club. So nice couple moves to the high side. And what I was talking about right now, Veron, is just that hold of 1750. Looks great. Huge move to the upside right there, up 7%. Look, man, finance is part of it, right? There's going to be some of these new winners. We talked about SoFi, PayPal, Square, a lot of these names working out. Lending Club up another 7.5%. It's a good one. So yeah, I like the stock. Thank you for the $2. We'll take it and go buy a coffee of some sort. Thank you, Varun, for Lending Club.
Oh, Timmy's, eh?
This is Timmy's today.
Usually don't. Yeah.
Well, because right here. So me and Randy just ran there. I was late going to go get a coffee. So
was that to Adara?
it is.
Yes.
This part of the show is brought to you by VinFast. Breaking news from VinFast, 2024's electrifying success story. VinFast is on fire. For the third straight month, VinFast secured our spot as Vietnam's #1 car brand. Dominating the market with record-breaking sales, in November 2024, we hit a thrilling milestone, delivering over 16,000 electric vehicles in Vietnam, the highest ever in a single month. But wait, there's more. Let's gear up for the future with the groundbreaking of new VinFast CKD factory, Vietnam. This state-of-the-art facility is set to revolutionize the game, producing our iconic VF3 and VF5 models with an impressive annual capacity of 300,000 vehicles. Mark your calendars. Phase 1 will be up and running by mid-2025. Back to you.
I feel like that last graphic on the VinFast, like it kind of ominously looks like a tidal wave, like a tsunami tidal wave going over the Earth, which, oh my goodness, that is one of those. My daughter likes science, and so she was really into it. She has one ocean book, and like it talks about tsunamis, and she's fascinated.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
She's fascinated with the concept and the science behind it, and so she's always asked me, is there videos of tsunamis? I'm like, well, she's 7. Do I really want to show? But she insisted. She wanted to understand what they look like. And we're talking about some of the biggest ones that ever happened. Like there was an actual, I'm trying to remember at the top of my head where it was, but there was an actual 500-meter tsunami that did happen in the world. And it happened in a tiny little cove because in a small cove, a massive piece of a mountain dropped in, essentially simulating the effect of like the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs.
Right.
It was very similar to that in a small area, but
what does she think about that? Is she into dinosaurs or?
She had a phase.
Oh yeah.
She's right now. She wants to be an engineer that builds theme park rides. Like that's her big thing.
All right.
But we got a bunch of super chats, and I know we missed a couple. I want to make sure we get to them, and I want to shout out to Taz. And I know we Go Family. We did talk about QUBT, I do believe, and again we appreciate your super chats. And then Mr. Westermeyer. Rupee on Solana is unique because the community, Wall Street Bets, and Pepe development endorsement. Mark Anthony has given the dev a TTV sponsorship quote. So I'll read it out. We did get your super chat, Mr. Westermeyer. I will tell you this: we should do another round of our bet for the NFC or the AFC Championship game. Assuming your team will make it, my team will. Mr. Westermeyer had to. Well, first he got us this. Yeah. But then he sent us donuts because the Bills beat the Chiefs. He's a KC fan.
Like so many
and
donuts.
Then shout out to, it was way too many.
There goes Tesla.
Kevin Horn, amazing work, sending support all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. Appreciate you. Thank you for the great advice and insights. What are your thoughts on where the QQQ might finish this week? And then we did go over LC and then Lays as well. So if you're, remember we have the Fed this week. Like anyone's forgotten that. They're not, so they are going to cut rates. That's just my 2 cents on it. But if you look at the steady climb that we've been on, it has been a very, very structured move, right? Like we've been on the week, like we're essentially going at best like 1-2 points. If you look at this week, you had a consolidation of about $9 in the Qs, and we've already made that kind of a move here today. So I kind of feel like if we break this next high and we get what we're expecting, I don't think you're going any further than 47, 48. And if anything, I would expect more along the lines of stay inside of the range than anything. Just based on how this up move has been playing itself out. Like it hasn't been, it hasn't been parabolic in the overall market. Individual names, yes. But there's been enough weakness that you're just not getting the super parabolic moves. Like you might see 1 or 2, but for the most part, you'll get like 1 or 2 of those in the week, and then you'll have a couple of red days, and then we get an inside move. So I would not be surprised if we end up holding this range on the Qs. And I think the determining factor is, hey, at what point do we get Nvidia participating? That happens, we're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, I just have this up here just in case you guys were wondering. We talk about this all the time. We show it here. You can just go get this free tool, cmegroup.com. Go click on the Fed rate expectation tool. And then there it is right here. So you can see right now the current spot is 450 to 475. And the target rate right there, 425 to 450 now, 95% with So they're not cutting 50 points. That's not even an option. The only option right now is what the market's pricing in is 95% for the quarter rate, and then there's a 5% left over. And we'll check this tomorrow, probably be a little bit higher because of what the NASDAQ is doing. I mean, if the NASDAQ now, as it goes, closing now up 2%, or if it can get up there, this could change just because if people are basing it on the market, then maybe they don't need to cut, considering what we are seeing. But there goes Tesla right now. It is now $10 in the money on that 450 break. Unbelievable stock. Congratulations, Chef Joe and everybody else. Adara.
Keep an eye here on Meta and Snapchat. Here's Meta still up about 1.6% on the day. Snap about 1%. Keep an eye on both of these because I'm seeing some talk on social media basically that apparently TikTok is asking the Supreme Court to block the ban of the app. We know that there's until January 19th this TikTok ban goes through. So more TikTok related catalysts. If you do recall earlier today, Donald Trump during a press conference at his Mar-a-Lago home said that he has, quote, a soft spot in his heart for TikTok. So looks like he's pretty sympathetic towards that cause as well. Keep an eye on SNAP and META, guys. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, make sure they can subscribe.
Thank you very much there, Dara. And you keep an eye. I mean, those stocks were strong regardless. I mean, if you think that's a catalyst for Alphabet and for Meta, it's not bad. But let's be real, they got a million other reasons why. Whether it's valuation, or whether it's quantum, or whether it's the future of way advertising works now, because Meta got an absolute stranglehold on that.
Yep.
Big time stranglehold. But we had another super chat here, and it's from Brandon Olson. Shout out to you, Brandon. Thank you so much. You got 110 shares of Wisky at 6:30. Just wondering how long you should hold. We're not here to tell you investment advice. That said, I mean, it's a double. You have a double up. Like the trade. Like at this point, you've got yourself a double. And I don't know what your risk parameter was getting in at 6:30. Like that's what the daily chart looks like. So when you look at it, on the 15-minute, like okay, so you took maybe a consolidation in here as it was forming a bull flag. So I would say if you're looking at a bull flag entry here, presumption, what was your stop at like $5? Like you were risking probably 25%, and you've got yourself a double up. Like that's the math that you want on these types of plays. I don't know. Like generally speaking, like if it loses trend, if it breaks another consolidation or bull flag, that's another reason to maybe get out. Like your reason for getting in should come with what happens, like what does it mean to be wrong on this? Looks like you took one bull flag, so a break of another could be a reason to take profit on it. But that's something you have to determine before you get into a trade. Like what is it going to mean to be wrong? Like this stock, like I don't know what, I mean, you know this, you're already in it, but this was $2 last week. And it closed at 8. It tagged 14 and already pulled back pretty heavily. We've seen this before. It could be $6 again tomorrow. You know, it could be $3 next week. All of those possibilities. It could be $20. And unless you have some kind of a real fundamental grasp on what they do and why you'd want to hold it in the long term, to me, a trade is a trade, and your reason for getting in should have something to do with a plan of action for covering the trade. It looks like you took a bull flag consolidation, and it's in another one here. That's my 2 cents. Great trade. Obviously, we talked about this one last week. I'm pretty sure Sharif was on this last week. No, it wasn't Sharif. It might have been Joe. Either way, rocket ship. Couple of halts. Only one today though. Wisky. Don't know too much about the company though.
No, great trade. Yeah, I would. I'd always be looking at that. So right now, Tesla. I'm thinking about adding to this top break right now. So we're $10 in the money. I might just get out in case it doesn't break, but then just add it if it does. So 61.50s is what's the high. So basically confirming that right there. I'm going to take it out right now and then just re-add to the position. So there it is. So we'll take this out. We'll just make $11. And then we'll see about going longer here, 461.50 break or so. I don't want to cross up too high on this play. So let's see if we can get it. So there it is right there. So that is, again, there's your We talked about it the other day, big winner right there, $11. I mean, and we don't even have the spot that we wrote down, 437, which is crazy because that was the low of the day, 437. So we probably should have that. So there goes Tesla. We've got it again. It's breaking higher. So we just put that on right now. So now we're long at 60s. Looks like it gets into the 80s. We'll take a small piece out in the 80s if we can get it, then a small piece out. Again, we're not talking about small pieces like 5%, something like that if we get lucky enough to do it. So there, did we just get an out? I'm not sure. Looks like we did not. All right, so we're offering right now on Tesla. I'm just back into the long 461.86s. I guess we just pushed up 20 cents, and that's where we landed. So that could be a late failed breakout of the day's high. So we're not like layering into this, and we're not thinking this is going to be the greatest trade of all time. There has been a dip opportunity down here at 460. So that could be it. I would say if you're going to draw the line on this trade and say, you know what, like I've just taken maybe my first Tesla trade of the day and I punched the high of the day at 320. Like, the high what we punched on Palantir did not work. We punched the high right here because it was a key level of 450. So we're trying it again at 460. So we just take $11 on it. We took $2 right there. So we can withstand this. We punched in half the amount of shares right now that we did here. So I'm thinking about that 50 period moving average that we've sort of respected for a minute is at 459.50s. So let's see about averaging back at 60 and then giving it down into here somewhere, 459 break. So that's going to be it, man. We're here to try to trade this name, so let's try to do it right now. It's Tesla. We're back into the long. And I'm not doing this, like I actually looked at this here. We broke the high there on Friday, not necessarily the same time, but we broke it in the afternoon, and we kept on going. So I don't know. Maybe there is a little bit of an opportunity here for a couple more bucks, but wouldn't surprise me if we do wind up failing out a little bit out of this trade. It's too bad we didn't get those 80s. That would have taken a little bit of the pain off, but that's fine. Very, very controlled amount of shares. We're going to wait for 460, sort of this area right there to get some more long, and then watch out for 459 break lower. So
yeah,
pretty simple.
I think at this point, Nvidia doesn't want to break 133, so we might look for a VWAP bounce. Like it's given VWAP once here, and it's now double tapped. It just does not want to take out this high. It's like once, twice, 3 times. And at this point, I think I would just take the local break and not wait for 133, like a 132.88. So it's got a higher low, decent chance it can still make this break. Like if it puts in a higher low now, that could end up being relatively clean. As a matter of fact, I'll just cross it to 133, and that top is 88, so that means stop at 89. I'm just talking about so there, cross it to 33. If it breaks out that local high, I'll be in. Or we wait for a VWAP dip. However, I just saw a couple of people in the chat say Titan is finally moving. Okay, so while yes,
got the memo.
Okay, look, this consolidation breakout, it's not a consolidation, it's like an iceberg at that 101.50. It has now gone $6 up. The spread is $1.50 right now, and it's done 370,000 shares in volume. 370,000 shares. So suffice to say, liquidity is almost non-existent on the stock, which is why you get an explosive move like this. So just be careful if you're trading this. Like this can drop. All it takes is a couple of people buying, and this will drop $3 or $4 on TTAN. So Nvidia is going to be on the radar for me. It's making a nice little consolidation up at the top, trying to break out this high. It's not green, but it is like it's an obvious opening range high here on NVDA. So we'll look higher lows into a top break. The market's taking out the highs. It's trying to join the party to the upside. Let's see if it can. We did, like I said, we got the reload on SoFi, but that one, it went like 10 cents in the money and starting to come back. If Nvidia can close above 133, it's almost as good as going green. I just want to break in that opening range.
All right, so Neil's going to be looking at Nvidia. We're on Tesla. It just went right, look at this, just went right back to 85 again. We're at 86. So crazy to have missed that. We will adjust right now and go to 75 and see if we get a little bit out. I'm just playing around. I don't know if it's going to break that or not. Let's see if it gets a little bit higher. We'll stay 85, so we'll see. But right there, we are also not getting long. Okay, we should be able to get long now. Where's my bid? Okay, there it is. So now we're filled up there at So I don't like how we just failed at the top there with that huge volume. Like, I don't know who just sold this thing down, but we will buy a little bit down there at 460.25s. So now our average price is in and around here. Let's see if we get something out at 461 if it does go back up to the upside there. But I do not like that big spike there if we even zoom this back out. So it's the biggest sell spike pretty much since all day. Let me see. This is the biggest sell spike since the morning. Yep. Yeah, so so there isn't a bigger one since the opening print. So we had 2 prints later, this one there with 933. So again, big sell, but hey man, you're just selling it right into your boy. There's a nice little one right there, nice little rip back up through 461. So let's go Tesla. Let's make them sing right now. How high can we fly right now on TSLA? There it is, man. We'll take a 38 out. Now we'll see if we can get a little bit higher there. So dip buy opportunities right into the bid again for TSLA. So far so good, but if it loses that 459, bye-bye. We'll play a little bit of this pressure back up, right? Like a coiling spring. We'll see if this wants to get back to the upside right there. But hey, man, it's a good one. The only thing will be, our whole day will be the red that we are on Palantir, which kind of sucks. So we'll learn our lesson with that, or will we? But here comes Tesla right now, right back upside. $2 SMCI is falling down. So we've been, London Bridge is falling down. By the way, shout out to Adam if you're in the chat, man. London was fantastic. I'd love to go back there. Probably will. 33 and change looks like the possible bottom there for SMCI, but oh boy, we're trading that one well with AMD and Apple as well. Micron still $5, but right now Tesla is the only one really that I'm of concern with. It's the most recent position and the position that I have the most amount of shares in, and we do have our targeted out. So breaks 459.
Yeah, there you go. As long as you got a plan of action, that's what matters. I see a few people talking about this MNTS halt. So 59. If you're not in the chat, get it. You can be in the chat. It's a great way to communicate with us and our fantastic community. Subscribers only chat. So make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the like, join this community, and be able to contribute. And one of the things we'll let you guys know is it's halted at 847. The theoretical auction price is flat on this, but it's a NASDAQ stock. Sometimes you don't get an update until right before it reopens. And this halted 3 minutes ago, or just 2 minutes ago. So a couple of minutes, this will reopen. 5 minutes, 10-minute halt, one of those two. It is 3:30. Usually by now, we'll start looking at some of the early look imbalances for everybody. VZ, AMCR, a couple of sells for 2 million shares, SU in there. Pfizer, some of the names you see that are going to pair off that don't really stand out. I think the only one that's a little bit interesting is, Snapchat's there for 800,000, and that one had a news piece. As it gets closer to 350, something might pop up, and then after 350, usually you'll see imbalances in names like Nvidia, and I'd suspect Apple probably has one. Oddly enough, Tesla tends to not have big imbalances unless it's a rebalance day.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a weird one. Like, it's a big stock. It does a ton of volume, but for whatever reason, it's just not a lot happens in the auction. All right, Nvidia doesn't seem to want to make this breakout. I guess it wants to pull back into VWAP. So looking for a dip into VWAP, dip, and pop. I wouldn't call it a rip because
Tesla.
This range is like 80 pennies from VWAP to this high. But we'll look for a dip and then make a scalp trade on Nvidia if it's not going to make the breakout trade. So it's starting to come in. Let's be a little bit patient. And Sebastian saying that MNTS had a reverse split on Friday. Oh, okay. No, that was just that halted stock. Be careful with these reverse splits. Okay. Typically, those end up coming back down rather nastily when they do come back in there. Even more so than your average small cap or low float runner. I'm always very cautious, especially buying highs on something in reverse split, because it's just the fact that there's less liquidity on it now, so it's easier for it to get soaked up and then go higher, as opposed to there actually being a reason why it's going up. So just be careful with something like that on the MNTS. That doesn't make me like it more usually for a low float runner. It's kind of the opposite sometimes. Adara?
What we're going to do here is take a look at this sector board one last time here as we're about halfway through Power Hour, this close to the end of the trading day. What we're going to do is take a look at the outsized performers to the upside on the S&P 500, specifically in the strongest sector of the day, and that would be technology services. Starting with the leader of this sector, that's going to be Google, GOOGL, up about 4.33% here. They announced a couple different AI-related updates, including a video model, VEO2. They also announced here a tool within their generative AI space called Whisk, and the the CIO of Chevy Chase here, Amy Raskin, announcing that she purchased more Alphabet Inc. stock. So keep an eye on GOGL. Then we have CrowdStrike, CRWD, up about 5%, near day's highs here, getting a price target increase from JP Morgan, and also getting recognized here by this 2024 GigaOM radar report, in the ransomware protection space. So keep an eye here on CRWD. Last but not least, MTCH. This is an interesting catalyst. This one we know was a little bit weaker last week with their investor day. They do have a 7.8% short float, and it looks like they're running in sympathy with Grindr, which is also sort of in that dating relationship app space. Goldman Sachs initiating buy coverage here on Grindr with a $20 price target. Looks like that sympathy could be moving up. MTCH. Grindr, for its part, is up about 9% today, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're enjoying the stream. Back to you.
Yeah, grinding higher.
While that grinds higher, another day, another drop for UNH. And we just saw in the chat UNH 500 from RHY. Ri? This might, A, it might just keep on falling until there's a trial. B, 480 would be the obvious support level. Like the second once it's not holding the 200-period moving average, like you tell me where you think it's going on a trend to the downside. Just consider this stock in the penalty box for the time being. And lastly, I heard Chevy Chase too. So my man. Okay, so Dare says it was Chevy Chase. Shout out to Fletch, was one of his great characters, and the Three Amigos.
Yes. And of course, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's a natural.
Is watching. We have the.
Is that one of your?
We have an ornament. What?
Oh, is that one of I know some people do these are the movies we watch during the holidays.
We've already watched it.
Okay, you've already seen that one.
Yes, yeah. We watched them all. We watched Elf,
Home Alone.
Yeah, pretty much. We stop at Home Alone 2, though. We don't. Go
yeah, you don't want to watch the third one.
I don't even know what the third one is. That's not Macaulay Culkin, I don't think.
No, it's some
rando.
The kid was in other stuff, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
No, but and the other one, my wife and I make sure we do Die Hard. My daughter doesn't want to watch that.
We were debating on that one.
You got to do Die Hard.
Typical Christmas movie there, Die Hard.
You got to do Die Hard.
Bad, but yeah, the first one there. With the guy from Family Matters, man. What was his name? Carl Winslow?
I forget the name of the show, but apparently, and this is weird. It's not to go into some weird history on a TV show, but that is one of the most successful examples of a show where the characters are a spinoff. Like Carl and his wife appeared on some other show where got ridiculously popular with his wife, and then they created Family Matters.
Oh, really?
And then they're like, they needed a gimmick. They had the show, they needed a gimmick, so they added Urkel. Like he wasn't even supposed to be part of the whole thing. It's a funny show.
We're long. No, it's a good one.
It's a great
we're back long now on Tesla.
Yeah.
Oops, that's AMD. Here we go. So here's Tesla. We're long at 459. It did drop out for sure. So we did take a hit there when it dropped out, but then this happened and it fell right into it didn't even fall really into that level we were bidding. So when this fell out, we sort of sat here and we're like, okay, if we continue, we want to try this into 457 again. I saw what this candle did, brought us down. So I just thought, and another big sell. If we like the name, maybe there's a chance we could get something lower. And so that was 457.78 on that one. But hey, man, we talked about this earlier, and you have to make sure that you do check out eSignal. I showed you some of the scanning capabilities, the zooming in, connects to over 50 plus brokers. You get your real-time trades, all these things, very, very easy to use. I mean, believe me, if I can use it, you can use it. It's eSignal, been using it over for 22 years. Data never goes down. Like how I know we have slow internet is like if I see something going on with the charts. Like it's always very, very reliable, very dependable. eSignal, great for back testing, the tick replay. And there it is, man. Good terminology. Wide array of tools available for eSignal. Like the fact that you can chart over 500 symbols at once, I mean, that's pretty unbelievable right there. You can put over 500 data points into your, here. Like I have this set up right here. This is just a very, very basic watch list. There's nothing too crazy about it. I have different moving averages that trigger when it hits, 52-week high, and then I just input all of the symbols that I'm looking at right here, and then it just fires off when certain things are hit. See, there's a V, you can't, here, maybe you can see it.
Tomorrow.
There's a VWAP, anyways, I could scan. So VWAP, 1 minute, moving averages, all that. So, I mean, the fact that you can really customize everything, I mean, I know it's Look, to be honest with you guys, it's no different than any other charting platform, other than the fact that it's super reliable.
It's so much.
Well, better than our charting platform, that is for sure. But right now, here we go, man. Diamond hand, man. I'm losing it a little bit right now because I got to. Again, I should probably never. I mean, I like doing the ad reads, but again, we just missed an opportunity to get out there. That's too bad. Goes up into 460, 460.25. But again, we don't have the orders out, so we do have some out as it just rips to the high side right there. That sucks. Okay. Too bad. Well, hopefully, Eastland, you owe me a buck. Hopefully, it goes back up to the upside right now. Okay, there it is. Getting some more out at 460. The highest it just got up to was 460.25s. So if we can get that again, we'll be really happy. So a couple more outs there on a reloaded position for Tesla. So yeah, man, just sort of adding to the pot here today as Tesla's trying to get back up to the upside. Can we close at the day's high? Why not? I mean, some of these drips I don't like. The volume's definitely picking up here into the close. We could see these imbalances, so I'm getting a little bit nervous. More positions out right now on Tesla. Punch out. Oh, no, we crossed into 90 and we're not getting filled. There we go. Now we get to fill. A couple more outs upside here near $60. 460 that is for Tesla. Good dip by opportunities, but it's been a roller coaster here in the afternoon. Let's see if we can sit on our hands a little bit.
Yes, sir. And as you were sort of saying that about e-signal, the one thing that you can also do is remember back testing, forward testing, and the API allowing you to program and customize is invaluable. There was a strategy involved in Europe on this trading floor that I can tell you was refined and very profitable only because they were using e-signal to track pretty much all of the major symbols on every single European market, and this is a few years back, and it's even better now. Nvidia doesn't quite get to VWAP, but it's like VWAP adjacent. So there's the whole VWAP the first time. It's 131.80, dipped into 131.80 again, bounces 131.80 here, and you're going to see what I'm getting at. Get 32s with the stop underneath the 80, local stop, takes them out 1-to-1, then look for a bigger move. So it didn't get to VWAP. I'm not going to give it to VWAP here. You're kind of running out of time. If we lose this lower high, I'll just jump out, but we're looking for the scalp trade into the high. I don't have my breakout set anymore because I don't know if we're going to get the breakout, unfortunately, here on Nvidia. I don't know if we have enough time for it to give us that move. I just saw in the chat someone saying AVGO short, Broadcom short, and that catches my interest, A, because Broadcom's been a rocket ship, B, because the market's at highs, and C, that hasn't been a very good short the last couple of days. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but it did do a pretty good pullback in the last 20 minutes on Friday. So, but here's the difference. When it made that pullback, see how it was like trending up, made a big break at the high right at the end of the day, and then reverted. This is a little bit different here. It's going sideways the entire afternoon with lower highs. So it's a much different setup than getting that spike high and mean reversion where you can kind of get in, get out with a tight stop and have good risk to reward. I just don't know, like if I was trying to short this stock, like you probably needed closer to 51 to play it to the high or some kind of an entry. I just don't really see much of a trade that I can find. Maybe you could flat bottom break that, but then you only got 20 minutes to go. There's a heck of a lot working against that, setting up a trade. TRBH31 says Tesla is the real short. I mean, we'll see. I think Tesla's it still looks kind of strong. Like when I go to Dara, and Sean's already in it, he's gone over the chart, but it gets holding the line there in the high 50s, at least for now. So let's go to Dara at the desk.
An eye on a low float runner. It looks like this actually could be potentially one to watch for tomorrow. It's Digital Brands Group Inc. I have to say right off the bat, not a ton of volume in this name, about 463,000 shares traded on the day. But we just got a significant volume spike after the company announced basically a financial update for their shareholders, saying they believe their interest expenses are going to be dropping by roughly 2.7 billion on a year-over-year basis. So that's pretty interesting look, going from 3.1 million to 3.1 million to 420,000 from fiscal 2024 to fiscal 2025. So significant drop in their expenses, saying that they should roughly end up netting 2.7 million from that. So looks like some, I guess, good news here for DBGI from a financial perspective in terms of details for the stock. We have a float of 617,000 shares and a market cap of $3.22 million. So keep an eye on DBGI. Again, not a lot of volume in this one today, guys. Back to you.
What is with the floats on DG? 617,000 shares. After how many reverse splits is my question? It's remarkable.
When
to
moon.
Me. Yeah, we used to never see stuff like that. Now they're all over the place. Those types of low flows. It's ridiculous.
All right. We have to start clearing out of some of this. Well, let's freaking go right now. I mean, that is a chicken dinner winner, man. I don't know how everybody likes their chicken, but however you like it. That Tesla trade right there, like, that's the thing. Like, I've just sort of, and I'm only looking at volume on 1 minute charts, to be honest with you. I mean, volume is very, very important. And you can look at so many different indicators. There is no doubt about that. But like when we saw that volume spike right there, it allowed us to sort of look for, sorry about that. I had to take a second to do that. You had to look for some possible support areas because like that was a flush ticket right there. It was happening again. And sometimes I'm just hitting that because, like, you know, we've had trades where you take this opportunity, it doesn't go for you. And we tried it on Palantir where it was like, okay, where's the next area? Where's the next area? I'm out of more than half of this, by the way. Where's the next area? About 55%, so we could still lose. But where's the next area of support? So as this was happening, and again, like we weren't even, the craziest part about this is Tesla will be, if this can hold, one of the top stocks for me. And we put down 437 right here on the stick, you know, to miss that. And we'll still put damage on it, just going long 450 and then long again 460 and trying to play those levels. But this is, again, something that I don't expect many traders to be able to do this because you have to be in front of the level 2 and seeing that and being able to put out orders like really quick, and then even taking advantage of some of these things right now, and then even the numbers that are going to come out in 5 minutes, like that's really tough, you know, to do that. But we're, you know, lucky enough to do those kind of things and be able to have buying powers where I can put out basically an unlimited amount of shares of Tesla. And it's just like, so I can sit there, layer them. Look, it backfires sometimes, right? We had that discussion, you know, with Obi when he was here, and Obi will be here tomorrow. But right there, nice little dip buy opportunity to 457. We took advantage of it. We sat there, we layered, we got the bid. Then we bought some more here as well when we went back up, breaking the 50 period or the 200 period. So all in all, great dip buy opportunities and great opportunity to get longer down there on Tesla. So although we don't have our posted level, we will still have an update on Tesla, which is pretty good. We have one red stock today, Palantir. So it hasn't been horrible, but we'll wait to see. Here comes Tesla right back in. 5 minutes until these imbalances, man. It's going to be a slippery slope until then. But if we lose this area, I am out for sure. We got a couple more outs. We are now a little less than 50%, but we're still in and around that area. So nervous hands right now, possibly on Tesla.
Yeah, we have 4 minutes till the imbalances come in there. Like I quickly, GME is making a move. I don't know why, but it's only up one or 2 points. So the last little dip in SoFi cannot seem to get past 75, or sorry, 90s. We got it in front of 75. It can't get past the 90 level. At this point, gotta suspect it's just gonna be an inside move, but we're about to go to Adara. GameStop just broke high of the day. It's actually been trending up the entire day, but only 2%. And just to zoom out, it needs to break 30, and I still think 32 is the monster breakout level. That's where you need to squeeze on GameStop. But Adara?
I was actually just about to talk about GameStop here when you brought that up. So I want to say there's no news on this for GME. This is the 3 minute chart. It's basically the largest volume candle that we've had since the open for GameStop. And no news, but it's worth noting a lot of social media attention even for GameStop. We are talking within the last couple of minutes, I'm seeing at least like 20, 30 tweets. So keep an eye on GME here. We're talking, they're coming in every few seconds, guys. The GME participants are getting very excited. If I do see any news on this breakout, I'll let you know as it makes another day's high near $29.
Adara, we're getting very, very excited for another name that's been running around today, down 9% right here, is our friend SMCI. So we're going to start taking some bids out right now. So we'll punch some out there at 20s. We do have a 16 bid as well waiting to get filled on the downside for SMCI. It is, hold on a second, it is another one for you today. Another failed chip name to the downside as we hold on to Intel and we hold on to our, do we still have, no, we got out of Intel, okay. So there's our out on Intel. I didn't even notice it. Again, we talked about it, such a small position, but there's Intel long 20, out 21. Oh yeah, that's right. We got out of that one by accident. We made that keystroke error, but look, it saved us, right? Because we would have got out at 89 and the bottom there is 87. So a good out keystroke there on SMCI. So, sorry, on Intel. Good trade there. AMD trying to fall in, but not really. Just keeps on sort of ramping itself back up. Good trade there for AMD. P&L number 2, I believe, here today. Micron looks like it wants to fade out a little bit. If we take view up and that bottom, let's get out. 108.35 with only 2 minutes left before the imbalances. We'll tighten this up. 108.25 out on Micron if it does want to go back in. So right now it's just got Tesla on. We're about $8 in the money in total, but we're starting to clear out some of this.
Yeah, I gotta start.
What's up, Martina?
Gotta start to clear out. 2 minutes to go to the imbalances, but the other thing is when a stop hits, just get out. I had a stop underneath this 131.80 on Nvidia. It did get in, went the 1-to-1, but now you're seeing it start to roll over. The market's starting to roll over as well. So you're getting I think it's weird. It's not really much, but it is the heaviest red candle since, since like 11:30. It's been a while on the NASDAQ. So you're getting the biggest turn and a little bit of a trend breakout there on the market. Not going to fight it. Maybe Nvidia. Look, it could come out a buy imbalance in 2 minutes, but I'm not going to guess at something like that. You need to hold support and get back up to the top. But have your rules, get in, get out. SoFi is still kind of holding on to that 1690 level. Doesn't seem like it wants to go at all at this point. So it feels like it's a little bit it's consolidative. The good news, what I like about SoFi is it's held on to VWAP. I mean, it's up 4 points, but it's held on to the high break. Like this high break was like $16.62 or so at that prior high, 52-week high, not all-time high. And it's going to end up, barring something crazy, it's going to close on this nice consolidation above it. So I'll still feel relatively bullish about it as long as it's able to hold on to the prior high, but it doesn't have the juice to get back into 17 like it did earlier today. And the buy's off 1650, much better than buying it in this little consolidation. But still a nice bullish stock for us here today. There was something else I wanted to get to. Oh, yeah, MSTR. And with 30 seconds to go, MicroStrategy went red and just continues to bleed. And now, of course, it's just back to green, but essentially flat. This reversion does now give up the entire move. So it goes into the NASDAQ or going into the NASDAQ 100 as of the close on Friday, so effective on Monday. And it's given up the entirety of not just the early morning move, but the gap overnight as well. So the sell the news is complete on MSTR. That's with Bitcoin still being at 106, by the way. And Bitcoin's been more or less fine up at these highs. MSTR, yikes.
Yeah, we definitely like some Bitcoin up into there. Okay, we are now out with some of these numbers. So a couple more outs there on Apple as Apple goes back up, so we'll take advantage of that. Looks like we have a sell on Palantir of a couple million shares. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit here so we could see those. All right, I got Google's a sell. That's a move down. All right, I'm going to have to address because, all right, look at that. Yes, sir. Bunch of outs there on Tesla. Wow. Great trading on Tesla, man. We'll pat ourselves on the back there for that. That was a good one. Apple continues to make moves higher. We just got that bid as well. So covering it out. We'll make some money here in the afternoon. That is for sure today. So good movement. Apple upside. We clear out of some Nvidia, some AMD there as well as that makes its move up and then falls back in on the imbalances. So that's 70 cents there. Micron, we might as well get out. We just sort of absorbed that. Nice move back there on Micron. So yeah, heading into the close up to the 50 period, we could do that as well. $5 winner for Micron. SMCI not really doing anything, but this is what happens when you're trading the right way on imbalances. Sometimes they actually go in your favor. So we'll wait to see there. If Micron, we're at 21s, why can't we get it? We can't get that bid, and there it goes, dropping back in. Maybe we'll get it eventually, but I'm just going to punch out right there on Mike. Whoa, we missed it. No, we missed the punch. We went to 13s. See, I was waiting at 20s, and now that will sacrifice us out there. So there we go. We'll take O's, which is fine. There on Micron, a $4 winner instead of $4.30. So that's going to be a good one. SMCI continues to make lows, but we just bid out at 33, and here comes Tesla right back in again. But we were, again, so lucky. Those imbalances came out. We get a 60, we get a 60 and a quarter, and we get a 60.50 right there. So lighter and lighter on Tesla as we do fall back in right now on this name.
Yeah, the market it's continuing to come back. I don't know if you read the imbalances, but Ford, 3.5 million to buy. Hey, good for you, Ford. It's the best thing about it that happened today. Cisco, 2.6 to sell. Palantir, 2.5 to sell. IQ, the cheap stock. AMCR is also another cheap one. Alphabet, well, which doesn't matter which one you're looking at. They're both 1.7 million to the sell side. So it doesn't matter which one of those that you're looking at. They're both sells. Apple is a buy of 1.4 million. Broadcom is a buy of 1.1 million. Microsoft is a sell of 1 million. So talk about mixed. Somehow it's 2.8 billion to the sell side, despite there being seeming like there's a mix. Like you have Apple up, and you have Broadcom up, and then Microsoft down. But it is overall 2.8 million to the sell side there. Cisco was a notable sell as well, 2.5 million. None of these look all that tradable. Like if anything, Cisco's does seem to be usually the best one, but it's a sell and it's already made a little bit of a drop here and went like 15 pennies. I think it's got a little bit of a nothing burger on Cisco. We'll just clean up SoFi. The aftermarket show, we have Michael Noss on, so we'll talk about, I know he's going to talk about crypto. I mean, let's be real, Bitcoin make another all-time high. You saw some of the alts have some good days. Bit of a mixed bag, and we'll see what trades, see how some of his trades are going. And I'm not making it up. He was talking about the fart coin. I don't know much about it, but we'll get an update on that name. We are going to get out of SoFi here. It doesn't look like it wants to go any further. And for all of you game stoppers out there, yeah, it broke 29, continued to go higher. So it's a real move on real volume. That said, it's already starting to pull back. So there wasn't anything outside of social media and why we both hollered out. And we've looked at the chart before. It's not like we don't know this. $32 on SoFi. There's 32 the last test. If you look at that roaring kitty mess, the lower high was at 32 that failed. So this breaks 32, and I think that's where the real squeeze can happen. Shorts don't get squeezed unless you break levels. So if we're not breaking out, I'm not terribly interested in GameStop. I guess there's trades there into it, but yeah, 32, wake me up when we get there.
All right, thank you, Neil. We have a dollar club right now on AMD. We've been covering out of all of our positions right now. Dollar club there as AMD comes to the downside there, so it's finally starting to go. We do have Tesla right now, which is pretty huge. This is a dollar as well, as we can see where that's starting to go. It looks like upside more for Tesla, and again, pretty... You know, we talk about lucky there, but pretty lucky that we were able to get that bid. But I don't know. I mean, it's also really good hold all the way back up. We could have cleared this out here, but no, we get greedy on Tesla, and let's see how far now it can go. We talked about it trying to close at or near the highs. It looks like we're getting closer and closer to that with only 5 minutes left. So we do have another offer. There it is. Yes, sir. A little bit higher. Wow. Okay, Sean, what are we even doing right now? $2. It just busted out. Right now, there it is. So it's a $2 winner right now for Tesla. We need to get a little bit higher as it's trying to climb. Let's go. There it is again. Wow, Neil, that's another one for everybody right there as we put the damage on the board now for TSLA. So there we go, man. Yeah, congratulations, anybody riding this Tesla right there, as it's been a big one right into the highs of the day. As again, like, you know, can't promise what stocks are going to do, but that's the target that we're looking at. And we still have a decent piece on as we get higher up. Let's just start clearing this out. Oh my, it is a hot dog cannon kind of day right here at Trader TV Live. As there it goes again, very, very profitable afternoon. As there goes our friend Tesla, new all-time highs right at the close, taking out 462. Another $3 winner here into the close for you.
Yeah, great look on Tesla. As you said, it made a fresh all-time. It is an all-time high. We can say all-time. I've said that so many times, and it's 52-week high. I got to get up to the desk, but Palantir, it almost went green. Someone asked me to look at Palantir. I punched out of my last position. SoFi went to 90. That's the best of 75. Got you, but it was still clean. And Palantir, so close, within 5 cents of going green on the day. Palantir, probably a decent chance to be able to do it. Remember we said how strong this would be if it was able to make a power move and close green, and it looks like it has a very good chance to go. So great start to the week so far. Tesla's been an absolute rocket ship all day. Like if a stock is strong on Monday, what do you want to do on Tuesday? Keep it simple. Like you saw Broadcom 2 days in a row. We've now seen Tesla a couple of days in a row. I got to get up to the desk.
All right, good day, good day.
Great day today, and good luck. If anyone that still has any fantasy football matchups tonight, I'm thankful that I don't care what happens in tonight's games. Who
is it again tonight?
There's 2 games. One of them's Atlanta and shoot.
Trying to think, who didn't play last night? Philly?
The Bears play.
Oh, the Bears played snooze fest.
The Raiders play.
Well, yeah, I got
plays.
Bowers. Yeah.
Who's the fourth? I don't know.
The Vikings play somebody.
The Vikings. It's Bears Vikings. Bears Vikings.
Well, I should have known that as the NFC there.
I had Bijan, but I don't. You could get Bijan needs 1 point for me. You know what? I shouldn't have even said
now
that.
You've jinxed it.
Yeah,
he's not going to get hurt. I mean, he has to get hurt.
No, that happened to me once.
I know.
A guy,
no, it was Bijan, I think it was too.
No, it was.
But okay, go over the desk. That's
years ago.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Willis. Yeah, I like Willis McGahee there. Too bad he got hurt there in college his last game. All right, so 462.20. Oops, sorry, that's AMD. AMD right now, and I don't know, man. It is another one, but hit the like, hit the subscribe, and everything, all like that. There goes AMD, $2 now in the money. Sorry, $1 in the money on that one. It's $3 is what we're trying to do right now for Tesla. As there it goes, man. Dip by, boom goes the dynamite. We're gonna have one red name, man, today, and it's gonna be Palantir. SMCI, thank you, come again, man. You were a great stock today. We'll see if we could do the same thing tomorrow. Just next time, start to come down a little earlier for us. We don't have to sweat that one out, but sweating is fine. All right, so there's that one. Apple. Breaking 250, we like that trade, so that's a banger right there for us on Apple. Intel. $1 right there. Small piece, 5% left. We'll try to do better and hold it. But again, Intel, another top name for us here today. Micron, the number one name, Joe, today. Micron, there's that 104. We talked about that. Nice move up to 111. We thought 110 might have been the highest. We have this dip buy there. Join me tomorrow for more fun like that. And then the stock where we crash land on there today is Palantir, because that's money coming out of my account, not going in, as you notice right there. I don't know why I'm smiling or thumbs up. But Palantir right there gets washed. Yep, exactly. Good one. I need that over here. That's great. All right, send me whatever code that is. There it comes right down there to the downside. We lose more here than most people make in their month, but we'll make it back. There it is, Palantir downside. Just to end now, less than a minute left. SMCI, probably more than a month for sure. SMCI, great trade on the short. That's a good one. Tesla closing near the top. All right, we'll get that countdown ready to go. Tesla closing near the top. Tesla at the damn top. 462.60s we just got. Oh boy, what a trade. Thank you, Joe. We stamped $4 on this name right there at the end of the day to be really happy. Joy goes Ren and Stimpy. Joe, you know Ren and Stimpy, my guy, over there. All right, it's roll call. No, it's not. It's countdown right there. Thank you so much to everybody joining us. There's Adara. There's the market in the background. 6, 5. Believe me, that's green when I tell you, and she nailed it today. 2 and 1 with the NASDAQ closing up, and oh boy, do not tell my good friend that starts with an H and ends with an O that we still have some shares on board right now, and there's $5 in the money on Tesla as it blows up right there at the end of the day. My hat's off to you, everybody, for watching. We're back, man. We're here tomorrow. It's me and Obi going tomorrow. We say congrats on the day off, Neil. We'll see him back on Wednesday. I'm off, I believe, on Thursday for the kids' Christmas pageant play. I don't know what they're called anymore. Holiday play. Wow, what a close, man. Long here on Tesla. That was quite the... Oh, I still have 2 positions on right now, by the way. Those are both live. Right now, over $7 in the money. Thank you so much. What's up to Sean James and everybody there in the chat. We'll see you tomorrow. Hats off to you. Hats off to Neil and Joe and everybody. Adara, thank you so much. Ramin, Fabian, Sharif, everybody that's here. Bears versus Bulls, we can't do it without you. All right, over to the desk for the market recap. Ciao.
Thank you very much. We got the market recap on them. Not much by way of earnings. We just have one here, Adara. But you do have a big time move for the start of the week here. It's a Fed week. You've got strong moves. Tesla, you saw right at the end of the day. Obviously, Tesla's going to be a rocket ship. If it wasn't your number 1 stock today, then maybe it's your number 2. No questions asked. Bottom to top, this thing just went $25. Another all-time high. Does it day after day, after day, after day. There's a couple of red days in there. I get it. It's not every single day that it does move up. There was a late move at GameStop, which I will acknowledge. You guys are still talking about it. It did just make a close pretty much adjacent to the highs, a little bit of a pullback, up 5%. Looks like it was just social media attention that has it going to the upside here today. But let's be real, this was a very, very bullish day. And what was leading today? What was leading on Friday? Broadcom with another 11% to the upside since earnings. Broadcom has gone just slightly up since breaking out here on earnings, breaking out the 180. You tagged $250 and change today. So it's just crazy. Broadcom's continued move. Clearly, it's a super strong name. It and Tesla certainly carrying the torch, but I don't want to sleep on a few others that made a big, strong move here at Dara. You've got Alphabet breaking out a new, fresh high here. If you track it Goog instead of Google, then it broke $200. If you're tracking Google, which does more volume, coming just shy of that $200 level here, Adara. The only earnings name we're going to have is RCAT. Do we have the numbers on Red Cat? Because they just spiked. Red Cat, decent bounce.
Not seeing them yet.
I mean, it's got a decent move on it right now. Red Cat is up at $12. They're the only earnings name. We have 12% short flow. It already had a pretty good day here in Red Cat, and it's making a move aftermarket. It just went $1.50 to the upside. It's about a 10% move since the close.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any numbers yet, though. I'm seeing some people in the chat saying they're out. Of course, if I see anything, I will let you know, but I may have to change my mic battery. Really quickly, if my mic is still alive, I want to point out here, apparently Trump is going to be meeting with the TikTok CEO at the Mar-a-Lago Club today, as reported by CNN. So keep an eye here on some of these social media stocks, guys. I will change my battery.
And there you go. And just one look on Red Cat. Well, it is moving. We might not have the numbers yet, but if you pull out the daily chart, which we like to look at, this just broke prior highs and is now headed toward its highs, up at about $12.50. So if it gets up there, look where it already turned. $12, starting to pull back into prior highs. I got to figure the numbers out. I, like Adara, am not seeing them out just yet.
Still not seeing them out.
Might have to look at the X machine to see where that one is going. But we'll let you guys know what the numbers are here on Red Cat. Again, it's more of a short flow type name. It's $900 million company, right? So you're not talking about a huge rocket ship. Tesla tagged 65 and is holding. It's still holding higher. Like, you're still up at 464 as this one continues to go and go and go. Like I said, Tesla, an absolute rocket ship. We're fortunate to get patient with this one today, morning and afternoon. It was the top trade morning and afternoon here with Sean. As it likes to hold in the aftermarket, just try to remember, if you are trading in the aftermarket, liquidity is different. Some brokers might have certain features that don't work. Like, for us, we have most of our gateways are still going to work here at Real Trading, and stop orders are going to work for us. But some brokers do not have stop orders in the pre and the post market. So just be careful if you are trading Tesla. Right now, it's a rocket and continuing higher. We don't want anyone to get rinsed. And this, GameStop, whatever might be moving, take advantage of it while you can. But just make sure that you are trading carefully and understand all the rules at your broker. A couple of things as well that I know got touched on, and I saw in the chat. You'll note here the ETFs that are down. TAN took it on the chin, down 2.5 points and leading the way. And if it's surprising to anybody, this is what the chart looks like for the solar ETF as it gets absolutely flushed today. You're going to have this down and closing at the lows. You're going to have the XLE down 2 points. Broken now the 50 and the 200 period moving averages. You're pulling right back in. I'm going to do this for you. You're pulling right back in to the September lows, and not much hanging on the bid for the energy names. So whether it's solar, whether it's uranium, whether it's just the XLE, all three of those bleeding. You're going to have the Chinese names also down 1.6 points. So yes, we had a great day for the NASDAQ. Yes, we had a great day for a lot of tech names. We had a great day for Tesla. But there are a few, I guess, bleeps, and this has been part of it. We've seen a move that is losing its breath again. We have the big names carrying us. That's your Apples, that's your Alphabets, that's your Broadcoms, that's your Teslas. Not so much Nvidia, but what else is new with Nvidia? And there's another one there, Apple. So the breadth in the market, it's great because we have opportunities as a stock picker to find some longs. But there's a whole lot of red on this board otherwise, Adara.
Yeah, there's a lot of red on this board. I know that the energy sector is really weak here. We do have ongoing, also hello, Brendan there, I guess. We had ongoing geopolitical tensions here sending the energy sector to the downside, but PSX actually had its own negative catalyst today, or not negative, but it sold off on it. Basically, providing some business updates and announcing that they are already struck an agreement to sell their interest in the Gulf Coast Express. So interesting look there for PSX. Like we said earlier, Google and that whole communication services sector was really, really strong today. CrowdStrike, a lot of these names in the cybersecurity space. PanW on his first post-split day of trading was really good as well. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a really mixed look for sure, but some of these green sectors kind of continue to grow. Google's had a great week last week with that quantum news, and it looks like it wants to continue that push.
Yeah, well, speaking of the quantum news, that's what a lot of the big movers were. In the small cap space today, you had several of the quantum names looking very strong, but right now, Tesla's making another high. So it is what it is. Like, what's moving in the aftermarket? Okay, you got one earnings name, but Tesla's moving as if it was earnings. And it just hit 467. Remember, every single time this makes a new high, it is a fresh all-time high. On a closing basis, clearly none of these prices are going to matter on a closing basis, but it's still continuing to catch a bid. 467 now the new high on Tesla, and the shorts just keep on getting squoze and more. It's just getting nastier and nastier. For anyone that's a bear on this stock, don't get me wrong, at some point when you have a parabolic move like this, you will get a pullback. Like when this went 240, there's your 50 period on the daily. Like it went 240 to 360, and then there's a pullback into 308. So you got a pretty sizable 15, 20% retracement move. It could do that and barely even break this trend. Barely even break this trend. Like that's just a blip there for Tesla. And as we said, still trading actively in the aftermarket, although pulling back off that 467 new fresh all-time highs. Congratulations to Elon and anybody that is a Tesla bull. I'm glad to be one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say congrats to anyone involved in Tesla here. I was joking that if we get that 469 tomorrow, that would be pretty funny given that 420.69 conundrum where it hit that new all-time high and then just stopped. But also, I think in terms of weakness, one other thing I wanted to say was the health insurance space. You know, UNH continuing to sell off. I was telling Neil off camera that was one of my biggest missed opportunities today, that short at 513.50s with that flat bottom. But also, that whole sector was really weak today beyond the ongoing Luigi Magnone, Brian Thompson stuff. We actually, Donald Trump saying that he wants to, quote, knock out the middleman when it comes to distribution of drugs. So it looks like that was not viewed as a positive catalyst for health services or those, I guess, insurance-related stocks, because they did have a bit of a drop there with volume. But there's another earnings report that is not red cap, which I still haven't seen out, that I'm seeing some people ask about. So I will provide it. MITK is the ticker. It's called MiTech Systems. Earnings, they beat on earnings per share here, 33 cents versus 17 cents expected. Sales of 43.22 million versus 41.3 million expected. Their guidance was a little bit more mixed, guiding fiscal 2025 revenue between 170 and 180 million versus estimates of 179.51 million. If anyone wants those numbers, I will drop them in our chat so everybody can see those MITK earnings. If I see anything from Redcat, I will let you know. Are you seeing this coming?
No, big move out here on Affirm. Affirm has announced a proposed private offering of $750 million of convertible senior notes. Affirm dropping down 3.5%, just moved $5 to the downside here on Affirm. Now this is it makes sense for them. I mean, look at the price. Look where this thing has been going. It's been a rocket. It's a triple up since we talk about those August lows. This is up 3.5 times almost, and was breaking out as early. It was actually breaking out going into the close and holding some highs, but a $750 million private offering, convertible senior notes here for Affirm. It is now bleeding to the downside, but $4. It just bounced off 68, so catching a little bit of a bid there for Affirm. Not looking too great for them, but that's sometimes what happens. You'll get a raise when you have moves like that. We're going to check back in on Tesla. I know we have Michael loaded and ready in just a couple of minutes, but I want to make sure the name that a lot of people are interested in here to see if it's making any other fresh highs. Yeah, I guess a decent bit of a pullback there on Tesla. Nothing too crazy. It's going to end up holding a lot of those highs, and super strong day. And I saw someone in the chat just mentioning Apple, that Apple actually closing the highs. That's not moving. So the big story, Tesla breaking through fresh highs and continuing to go in the aftermarket. You did have Red Cat earnings. And then we just got that offering from Affirm. That should be in play tomorrow. Affirm, bit of a squeeze name. It's been on a bit of a tear. A healthy pullback would make a little bit of sense. When I get the thumbs up, we should be able to go on over. Are we ready? Let's get some trader talk action. The NOS boss is in the building. Michael, long time no chat.
Yeah, it's been a few hours, hasn't it?
Yeah, glad to have you back. What a crazy day it was in the market. I feel as if we had you on this morning. We were talking a little bit about market breadth. We were talking about the crypto. We've talked crypto. You've talked some seasonality. But the big story again today, you had the markets moving higher and a whole lot of red on the ETF board. You know, and it was a very concentrated move. Certainly Tesla, rocket ship, Apple, Alphabet, Broadcom, super strong, but energy, terrible. China hasn't been very good. I mean, you had all of energy. It wasn't just actually XFI. You had uranium, you had TAN to the downside, gold and silver not looking good. It was a very concentrated move, which is great for day traders, but might not signal the kind of strength that we want to see going into a hopeful Santa Claus rally.
Yes, and I have a breadth indicator up here. I think that would show this. And when we talk about market breadth, for those who don't know, we're talking about kind of what is the average stock doing, because that's going to be different than what the S&P 500 is doing. So this particular chart I have here is just the S&P 500 on the top, and then this bottom is one of many ways you can look at breadth. So for example, this is the amount of stocks that are above their 50-day moving average. And you can see that is declining and actually hit new lows ever since the last time this happened was this area right here, which was that whole carry trade kind of fiasco that happened kind of right back here. So ever since then, we've been actually making new highs in the S&P 500, but you can see we're not making new highs with breadth. So breadth is making lower highs at the same time the S&P 500 is making higher highs. Now, I'm not insanely concerned about this just yet because of what I talked about a few times on the show, where going into the end of the year, there's a lot of this kind of tax games that are being played where the weaker names are being sold aggressively and the stronger names are being bought aggressively to cover some tax that's going on. If you sell names that you're underwater on the year, you obviously don't have to pay tax on them. And then also window dressing, which is kind of just showing your market participants that, hey, yes, I hold Tesla, and yes, I hold this, and yes, I hold that, because you just have to have that when the year comes to an end. So I'm seeing a little bit of that's going on right now. So I'm not too worried about it yet. But yeah, you're definitely, if you're looking at the market and you're saying, well, the market's holding on okay, and the Qs are actually doing well, but my stocks aren't doing too well. Well, don't feel too bad about it because the average stock isn't doing too well.
Yeah, and I think, as I see in the chat here, Rivian Millionaire pointing this out, and one of our viewers, and I know he was worried about what if the Fed didn't cut on Wednesday. That's a whole other can of worms if that would be the case. But the RSP, like the equal weight ETF, I mean, nary a green day since it consolidated off the high. And this is, from a technical standpoint, and let's do that. And from a technical standpoint, hold to 50, hold to 50, hold to 50, trending back into it. That's not a good look if we look. I don't care what you're looking at and how bullish it is overall. You lose a trend like that, and you could be into a little bit of trouble. So I think it's certainly something to watch. Now, just out of curiosity, only because I brought it up on Wednesday, I know you're always looking for a broader sense of the market, and when you're swing trading, time frames are different from a day trader. But does this action, and I guess the Fed, we know what's going to happen on Wednesday. We're going to get a quarter point. It's like 95% chance. Is this a situation where you don't want to put anything on until after? I know when it's up in the air, what kind of a cut we're going to get. Typically speaking, that's a no-brainer. Don't put anything on. Is this a situation where you're hands off until Thursday, or is there anything that you might be looking at before then?
No, when it's pretty understood what's going to happen, then I'm not too worried about it. It would be like the same question of would I hold into earnings if the market was 97% or whatever it is at the time, sure, what the earnings would do. I don't expect a crazy move at all from the Fed this time because, again, everyone knows what's going to happen. Again, so my focus is entirely on like the chart that you mentioned with the RSP, the average stock being weak versus the S&P 500 that's holding strong. That's a lot of where my focus is. We need to start to see that recover before I'm really going to be interested in kind of really putting on size and really putting on risk. Because as a holder of Tesla, this is great that Tesla's kind of carrying the market right now, but it's not something that you can sustain it. So if the entire broad market isn't moving higher, then it gets really hard to get very excited to put on a lot of risk in the long direction.
Yeah, as a day trader, it's easy to be excited about Tesla moving up because you can day trade at these highs, but I don't know too many people that are probably itching to start a position on a swing basis or in the long term at 460. Michael, we have a super chat and a question from our viewers, and I wanted to make sure if we can get to Adara and fire that to you.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for being with us. Nick W. here with the super chat. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Asking if we could ask you about BBAI, I believe that's Big Bear AI, saying that he thinks it's a similar setup to RGTI and prep for a huge rally. So what are your thoughts there on BBAI, Michael?
So full disclosure, as always, I own some BBAI. This came through one of the algorithms that I'll be talking about with you guys, I'm sure soon, that I'm running over at Stats Edge Trading. And what it's looking for is a big up thrust and then a pullback. So full disclosure, I'm in some of this from, I think around 280, 290. I'd have to check the price. Not an insane price, but I do really like the look of this one, knowing that it's a speculative AI play. So if the AI story is hot at the moment, this one's going to do phenomenally. If the AI story starts to wane at all, then this one's not. For me, I think you have this break of prior resistance here. You can call it like 250 or so, and then it's pulled back, and so far it's held that 250. I think the trade for me personally on this one is going to be pretty easy. As long as we hold that 250 area, I'm going to keep a little bit. I sold a chunk today, but I'm going to keep a little bit as long as we hold that on a closing basis, that $2.50. Looking for a quick run at these prior highs at 450. If I don't get that, because this is a very speculative kind of momentum type play, if I don't get this continuation quickly, then I think it's time to go. I have no idea what this company does. It just has AI in the name, so it's going to kind of move with this whole AI space.
Michael, was just a quick question, because I know this BBAI has like an 11% short float, but the days to cover is actually very low. Does that factor into it at all? Like, there's probably a few names in the space that are going to give you, and again, we love to hear more about the algorithm, specifically what it's choosing. Is that a factor? Is that something you can tell us when you're looking and scanning through these names, what the float is, what the short float might be, or is it completely just purely technical?
The different algorithms I'm running are just purely technical right now. I'm going to look to add data to them if I can. Historical, these are everything I run, I'm testing back to 1980. So it gets very hard to get that data going back that far, but something that I'm looking to add. But the premise is pretty simple, and it's actually something that we talk about all the time, Neil, as our favorite setups. We're looking for something that has a really strong momentum type breakout of a defined area, and then pulling back to that area. And then, running this test, you're right, I think 57% of the time going back to 1980, and your risk is kind of 1.5 to 1 risk reward. So over time, right, I have the stats that this setup works, and the algorithm spits out this every weekend. So this was actually last week that it was looking at this. But yeah, the idea is pretty simple, right? You're looking for a pullback in this momentum play. What I've noticed is that if in the first week or two, if you get that continuation, they can be pretty good plays. If these linger for any given time, then it's probably best to look at something else, because you're looking for a quick bounce off that level and another momentum thrust up. Looks good today that we may have gotten that, but if we don't get that follow through over the next couple of days, then I'm going to be moving on from this one.
Gotcha. Like, it's got a time expiry, which should matter. Like, it's when you're trading and swing trading, very different from an investment. Like, if I think something is good in the long term and I'm not going to sell it for years and years and years, what do I care if it goes sideways for 5 days after earnings? But with something like a BBAI, and I think a good example, because the super chat actually said it could be like a Rigetti, RGTI. And I think RGTI would be an example of sort of the explosive upside that you can get, why you want to hold on to a piece. That was the other side of the super chat. We didn't show this chart. But this, again, like this one pulls back, doesn't even get to a prior high, and then continues to rally. That's the alpha that you're looking for. That's the move that you're looking for. Is there anything, okay, obviously you're in some BBAI, we got a question about it. Is there anything else of that ilk that maybe you could drop on us that you have that has popped up on your algorithm, or maybe it's another altcoin? Bitcoin made another fresh high in today, so I know there's a lot of strength still going in crypto. What else might you be looking at in the bigger runner space? As we talk enough about big cap tech on the show, so to get some of these runners and some alt tokens, let's just say, altcoins, can be a good exposure for our viewers.
Yeah, so one that I actually missed today that came through, and just to show the idea of kind of what we're looking at here, is this VUZI. And it was the same thing. I had a wicked move last week. We were looking for a pullback into the $3 area. That happened kind of right off the bat this morning. If we go into kind of a 5-minute chart, I took a little bit as it got back, red to green on the day. So I really, 323 as opposed to $3 we were looking at, kind of really missed the boat on a perfect entry on this one. But this VUZI is just absolutely crazy. When it comes to kind of more the pullback type plays, the only other one that's triggered for me so far is this RH, which is, I believe, Restoration Hardware. I'm thinking of RH Donnelly too, but RH, I think is Restoration Hardware. And the idea here is we're just looking for, again, a strong move that happened last week. This one actually happened because of an earnings gap, but you can see when it's pulling back, this kind of 410 area was support back or resistance back here. It was resistance back here. So we're looking to see if this becomes support, fading into this gap. If this gap holds and we start to move higher, this is one that actually I really like the look of.
Wow, that's a great look on RH. Now that's on a weekly chart. That's a pretty significant level on RH. But you're getting a lot of love for VUZIX, which I do remember a few times has been traded on the live show as a small cap, especially in the midday. But we have Nick Dubb saying nice move, and then TH saying textbook on VUZI. I gotta, because I'll tell you right now, that one, I mean, that's perfect for a day trader, that bounce. But the only way that that's perfect for a day trader is you have to somehow have VUZI up when it wasn't necessarily gapped up overnight, and then you got to have the level 2 up, because I can understand why that can get missed at the open. That's just a heavy wick, and it goes from bouncing off 305 to being at 325 in the blink of an eye. As a day trader, capturable if you're all over that stock in the morning. So when can we get a look at the algorithm?
Well, it's over at stats@trading.com, but at some point I need to make a visit down there to show you guys what I've been working on, because it's been exciting. Currently, investment and kind of swing trading in nature. We're looking for swing trades anywhere from 5 days to maybe 2 weeks. The longer term trades, the trend following setups, I've got one here, Equifax, that actually just triggered today on a little bit of a breakout. And this one, a winner will last 2 to 3 months. A loser, we're out a week. So yeah, what I'm doing is every weekend I run a lot of these systems where I've been working for years to kind of build and perfect these systems that, again, going back to 1980, they spit out, here's what you want to watch next week. I put the alerts into TradingView here, and it actually shoots that alert to our little Discord bot that we have. So hopefully we can catch them a little bit quicker. And right now, that's what's going on. I'm working on some day trading algorithms, which I know will be interesting for you and your group there. They're a little bit harder because the data is a little bit more rough to go back that period of time, but I still want to. I want to make sure everything that I'm doing, I'm able to test kind of robustly and back for years. But I do have some ideas that I'm calculating currently.
I love to hear it. And one of the things, and I know some traders, if you gravitate to the swing trading more so than the day trading, the one good thing about the top-down analysis is, as a day trader, like, executions are very different from swing trading. However, when you look at setups on higher time frames, it can give you the right stock to look at for a day trade, which a lot of times is half the battle. So while you might not get the full, this is how I'm going to trade it from an idea like Equifax, you can come in with, this is a bias and a reason to look at the long starting today. And I think that's the thing that always interests me when we get a chance to talk to you, Michael. And that's why, as a community, we want to make sure we're getting different perspectives from swing traders, from long-term swing traders, some fundamental analysis, like everything, technical analysis. You want to put all these things in your toolbox. So A, you're even looking in the right place, and B, you never want to stop learning, which I think is important. Before we get you out of here, I heckled you last time for not getting your Christmas shopping done. So I'm hoping that you're going to tell me how you're now laying back and chilling in the cut and everything is handled because you did what I suggested you do, which is get it out of the way.
I got most, I'll say. I'm actually quite proud of myself. I think we got a couple cousins and things like that to go. But yeah, I think we got most out of the way. Amazon's been just knocking at our door for the last week or so. But I'm definitely in a much better situation than I was last time we talked, that's for sure.
Glad to hear it, Michael. As always, thanks for coming on this morning, dropping some science. We look forward to checking out some of that algorithm and some of the other calls that it makes. I like this. Everyone likes that Vuzi, and then this Equifax looks very, very interesting. Michael Noss, Stats Edge. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you later in the week.
All right, I'll talk to you then. Have a good one.
Thank you, Michael.
A little louder than normal there. As always, big shout out to the Noss boss himself. That algo looks like it'll be tasty. But Adara, we still have a few things. And just very quickly, I know we had some movers in the aftermarket. It wasn't a heck of a lot, and it's RCAT. I don't know why I just typed RVAT. RCAT, which was higher, I just want to point out to everybody, then dropped all the way to $9. So it was 10 to 12 to 9. What goes up apparently must come down. Affirm was the other name. They dropped to $750 million offering, down to $68. Looks like it's actually clawed back a little bit of that, back above the $70 level. And let's be real, the rocket ship today, well, one of the rocket ships today, I don't want to take anything away from Broadcom because Broadcom's been a big one, but Tesla sort of leading the charge, especially late in the afternoon. Broadcom didn't do anything in the afternoon. Closing and now holding right up at the highs. We're right at that 467, and it doesn't seem to want to budge. I don't know if there any other news hit there, but I feel as if all of the aftermarket news and moves took a back seat to the strength that Tesla showed here going into the close.
Yeah, Tesla was really strong here. Really quickly in terms of some other aftermarket moves here, we have that MyTech Systems. I mentioned this briefly, put the earnings in the chat. EPS beat, revenue beat, guidance kind of mixed there, but they're still up here about 28%. Then the RCAT, it's interesting. Initially, it was reported that they beat on revenue. They actually missed on revenue. The number that was initially reported was actually going to be there, and I put that in the chat as well as it was coming out. We had Michael Noss. So the number that was initially reported as their quarterly revenue, 4.3 million, that was actually their year-to-date revenue. Their quarterly revenue was 1.53 million compared to estimates of 4.13 million. Yikes. And then we also had here earnings per share. They lost 18 cents per share. We're expecting a loss of 8 cents per share. They guided fiscal 2025 revenue between 80 million and 120 million. I don't know how that compares to estimates, but this RCAT is getting, clawed to the downside a little bit right now for RCAT. There's also some executive updates with LZB, Lazy Boy, and Geo, so I put those in the chat as well. Nothing major from those, but just a little quick news update there.
Yeah, I don't care what stock you are, but if people thought that the full year number was the quarterly number, and it turns out not to be true, there's almost no chance you're going to hold on to a move after that. That's pretty nasty. Although, let's be real, just in context, RCAT is actually still up because it was strong today. But obviously, that is a hefty pullback. If you bought that top on that incorrect number, this is why you want to make sure you get the news right. That's why we have Adara giving you the goods all day long and into the aftermarket show. The other thing that Adara is able to do is a little bit of roll call, which it's time for right about now. And that's the moment where you get to have your name read off in the chat, everybody in our awesome community. And in order to do that, you're going to have to hit the subscribe. Heck, hit the like as well. It's a subs-only chat, so once your name, you got to hit the sub. Then you've got to type a message in, which I always say for roll call. Drop some thanks in there. Drop some thanks to Fabian or Ramin on the ones and twos. Put it up today on the ones and twos there. I do see. And everyone was in white except for myself and Adara. It was one of those things. Give a shout out to the Midday, the Bash Brothers, to Joseph, to Sharif. Give a shout out to Brendan, who's always hard at work, to Adrian, who's always hard at work with our socials. Give a shout out to Sean on the desk, kicking in with that Tesla trade at the end of the day. And Obi, of course, who'll be filling in for me because I have the day off tomorrow. I'll be enjoying it. And don't forget, give a big shout out and thank you to Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator in the business, whom we don't thank enough, and thank yourselves as the best viewers out there. So now time for a little roll call, Adara.
Yeah, there's a lot already coming in here, so I'm gonna have to catch up. But thank you to Neil. Hope you enjoy your day off tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, Andre. We have Fabian. We have Ramin. We have Sean. We got Joe and Sharif. Obi's gonna be on tomorrow as well. And Bears versus Bulls. Thank you to everything you do, Brendan, as well. Let's get it. We have Volky, Michael Spatafor, Nick W, A Royale. We have Chef Joe, Sir MM, Bam, T-Man, Adventures in Texas, Jonathan Robinson, Trader Forever. We have Silky Smooth. This is going to be D. Westermeyer, Derek Thompson, Jason G, James Dell, Chase Bands, Charmine Khan. We have Ed George. We have Nicole. We have Oliver Katsaros, Blue Arrow 007, Kyle, Mikhail, Fierce and Fiery. I love that. The Piper, The Realist, Harpreet Singh, Tim 2C. We have 90 Trays. I'm a little bit behind here, but let's keep going. Yatube, T-Man, TH, Jason Ryan. And we have Bedston, Burrell, Derek Thompson, Sam Gipp, Juan Wick, Blue Arrow, Sebastian Ontiveros. I'm going to end with Juan Wick because that's a great name here. I don't know if your last name's Wick, but that's a great username either way. Congrats. Michelle Muir coming in here too. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here with us every day.
Thank you so much, Adara. Great roll call as always, and thank you to all of our viewers. But you know what, I say it every time. The best part about this show and the best part about the markets, you get to do it all again tomorrow. You get to do it without me. My wife's traveling, so I'm taking the day off to get drop my daughter off at school, get some things done around the house, but you're taken care of. Why? Because if the market's open, Trader TV Live is here for you. And that'll be at 8:30 tomorrow morning. We'll see you bright and early. Bye, guys.
See ya.